Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook Library, a sanctuary of stories where fan fictions come alive, where ancient legends echo from the East and Western worlds awaken with wonder. Settle in. Your journey begins now.
Reborn in Originals Chapter 1 Death and Rebirth where I'm too found myself in a void full of darkness. I don't know how I ended up being here, but I've been here for so long and it is not good or funny. You are dead, young one. I heard a voice so loud that it echoed through the void. I asked the voice, who are you and what do you mean by I'm dead? I am what you call God, young one, and when I said you died, I meant you were literally dead. What? How can I die? I don't even remember how I died. All I remember is that my name is Victor from Nigeria and something called TV shows and movies with some light novels I usually read. Well, with that out of the way, I will grant you a second chance to be reborn in another world of your choosing with 5 wishes and some perks. I remembered to have read something about reincarnation like this in those light novels. Thinking about it I became excited. Said, I wish to be reborn in the originals as Niklaus' elder identical twin brother. That can be done. Now to your wish. I thought about what to wish for and decided to make me and the Mikaelson op, but me being the strongest original, who wants to be lonely at the top alone. So I stated my wishes. First, I wish to be the first tribrid, and Cole the first heretic. Second, I want 10 times learning speed while the rest of my siblings have 5x learning speed. Third, I want us to be truly invincible. Nothing can kill us. Fourth, I want you to save Henrik after his death, or you could find a way to keep him alive. That's my wish. Can I keep the last wish for later? I asked, not having another thing to wish for. Yes. As for your third wish, there is going to be a slight problem. Before he could continue, I said, well, for that only you can kill us. How about that? You cheeky brat. Alright, but I'm going to give you only 1 perk. I thought of the perk I would need and I couldn't think of anything, and if I can let the perk affect my siblings also. Since I'm giving only 1 perk, then I will allow that. Great. Then I want a perk that will increase our strength by 5 times every 10 years. Okay, for besting me in your third wish and caring for your siblings and not just overpowering yourself, I will grant you and the Mikaelsons a system, but not your typical system, but to keep progress of your abilities and just to see your stats. There won't be missions and reward for, and you can also make your wish through the system and it will be activated after the Brotherhood arc. Then finally I will prepare a surprise for you. Now go. A new world awaits you, elsewhere. Wah, 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 cries of a baby sounded through the building. There was a woman holding 2 babies in her hands while looking at them with love. A man with dirty blonde-haired man walked in and took the babies from her and said, these are fine lads. I will name the first Victor and the other one Niklaus. They shall grow up to be fine warriors. The mother smiled, called her other children, Finn, Elijah, come look at your younger siblings. 2 young boys walked into the room, the older one being 9 and the young one being 5. Elijah, mother, what's their name? Esther, Viktor Mikaelson and Niklaus Mikaelson. What do you think, boys? Finn, I like it. Elijah, me too, Mikael. All right, boys, leave so that your mother and the lads can rest. Finn and Elijah, yes, father. Unknown to them, Victor, now named Victor, understand everything they were saying. Victor, damn it. I should have asked him to give my memories when I'm little older. Now I have to relive my childhood all over again. 10 years later, a lot has happened in 10 years. Me and Niklaus grew up being identical twins. After the year we were birthed, mother gave birth to Cole. The following year she also gave birth to Rebecca again. Damn, she is just like a breeding machine. And 4 years after, Henrik was born. I and Nick are 10, Cole being 9, Rebecca 8, little Henrik 4. Finn and Elijah, 19 and 15 respectively. Due to my wish, the Mikaelsons' children were held as geniuses in the settlement, but I didn't become a warrior because of the curse, and mother did not allow Niklaus when he offered to join them for raids despite offending Mikael. Cole and me studied magic and spellcraft from our mother. Due to our talents in magic, we learned everything she has to offer, shocking both her and Iana. I can even see the gleam in her eyes when we show our magic potential, which I deduced to her trying to use to get back at sister, but I won't let that happen. Elijah and Niklaus still has a love rivalry because Tatia, which annoyed me greatly. What did they even see in her anyway? Everything went as the show when Tatia finally chose Elijah, leaving Nick heartbroken, who just moved on. I tried to bring Finn and the rest closer so that we won't strain away when we turn I started practicing the immortality spell which I stole from Iana and made a copy for it. I wanted to boost the spell, granting us the elemental powers of blood and shadow exclusive to us originals and our direct sire bonds. Now I'm waiting for everything to kick off while we the Mikaelsons sharpen our skills. 9 years later, I'm now 19 and Henrik is 13, meaning the birth of the originals is around the corner. On a faithful night, I was resting on a tree looking at the full moon when I had bad premonition. I knew it was today, the day that will mark the birth of the new originals. Chapter 2. The new originals. Mikaelson's compound. Nick was crying while carrying a lifeless body with him, all the other Mikaelsons present with tears. Viktor is holding a crying Rebecca and giving her comfort while Mikael is questioning Nick. Mikael, what happened, boy? Niklaus, it was the night of the full moon and I want to see the men turn to beast, and Henrik decided to join me. After they turned, they attacked us, despite fighting them off. One got to Henrik before I could save him. Esther, hearing Niklaus fighting the wolves, she got agitated and asked, boy, did you kill any of them? Nick. No, mother, they were stronger and faster. I was just able to push them back. I'm sorry, mother, I failed you. Esther heaved a sigh of relief when she found he didn't kill anyone, afraid of triggering the curse. Nick is better than his counterpart in the show because of Viktor's wish, but still because of the necklace Esther gave to the twins. Nick still receives the burnt of Mikael's wrath, albeit a little less than the show, and Viktor was able to escape because of his talent in magic. He could have removed the spell used on the necklace, but he doesn't want to draw Esther's attention to himself until he turned. Mikael, in fit of rage, struck Niklaus, saying he was a disgrace to him and for not saving his brother. Niklaus was just sitting on the ground not minding Mikael hitting him when Rebecca ran to shield her brother. Rebecca, father, please stop. I beg you, please stop. Stop hitting him. Mikael looked at his daughter, then took Henrik's lifeless body and left, Esther following him, leaving the Mikaelson siblings alone. Viktor, Nick, get up. Let's go pay our last respect to little Henrik. Elijah, Viktor is right, brother. Niklaus, I'm sorry. I caused the death of our brother because of my foolishness. Rebecca, look at me, brother, don't blame yourself. Nobody knew what will happen. Cole, as much as I hate to say it, she is right, brother, it's not your fault. If you want to blame someone, then blame those damn beasts. When Nick heard them say those words, he felt a little guilt-free, but now with a newfound resolve to get stronger than the beast and take revenge for his brother. Finn, let's go. The Mikaelsons gathered together to pay respect to their late brother in their courtyard. Viktor and his siblings gathered together to comfort one another and mourn Niklaus because he was the only one who witnessed Henrik's death. Mikael and Esther were together having a discussion. Viktor glanced at them and came to a speculation of what they were talking about. He sighed and got ready for tonight. Viktor Pov, after we took care of Henrik passing rites, father called us for dinner, and when we got there everyone was silent, perhaps still mourning. Then I thought of my fourth wish, wondering how is he going to come back, when I heard a voice in my head. Young one, Henrik is safe. I will resurrect him when you leave the settlement. He will meet with Freya when she will come look for you and together meet up with you guys. Also, he is going to be a vampire like you guys. Damn it, can't he just bring his voice down? Well, it's better that way. While I was in my thought, I heard father voice. Mikael, eat and drink in memory of Henrik. May Odin bless his soul. Everyone, may Odin bless his soul. I saw everybody ate their food and joined them. We ate to our fill when suddenly I felt sleepy and I knew the drug had kicked in. I looked at my siblings and saw them dozing before everything went blank. General Pov. Mikael. All right, woman, everything is ready. Do your thing. Esther, what we are about to do is going against the natural way of things. Are you sure? Mikael, how more of our children do want to see die before we can be sure? I lost Freya and Henrik. I can't lose another one. Woman. Esther started working on the spell she would use on her children and husband unknown to her son. Viktor has already made an upgraded version of the spell, dividing it into 2 parts. He used the first half on him and his siblings that very day after the burial rite for Henrik. He kept it at a dormant state, and will make Esther cast the last part, which will trigger the complete, while Mikael will only have half the spell used on him. After she was done, she looked at Mikael, who looked back at her and gave him the go-ahead. Mikael took his sword and walked to his first child and killed him, into the next with an expressionless face. After he was done, he killed himself. Viktor Pov. woke up, feeling a little thirsty, but I know it wasn't for water but for something else, and that's when I noticed a tear at my shirt. I looked at my chest. It was completely fine and looked around and saw some of my siblings awaken. That's when the door bust open, which Mikael walked in with someone in his hands and gave me. Mikael, drink boy. He brought the person close to me, and that's when my bloodlust started rising. I didn't even know when the sclera of my eyes turned blood red. Dark veins appear under my eyes as the blood pumps forcefully through them, and my canine teeth extend into razor-sharp fangs. I took her wrist and bit into it. To say the truth, it was like the most delicious wine back in my home world. It was heaven. I now know why Cole was an addict, but before I could enjoy myself I was bashed aside by Mikael. Mikael, enough boy, shit, thank the old gods he stopped me, otherwise I would have killed her and triggered my curse. I tested my new strength, and to say I was impressed was an understatement. I could also feel my magic, so I asked Cole if he could feel his, which he nodded happily, making him the first heretic to grace these world and me the first tribrid. I don't have any weakness like in the canon where sunlight burned them or the white oak and vervain. Only Mikael experienced that, making Esther looked at us weirdly. Weeks later, we have pretty much gotten familiar with our strength, speed, and Mother has made a daylight ring for Mikael, who also burned down the white oak tree. I could also feel my manipulation over blood and shadow, albeit only for a limited time, meaning I can't use it for now. Well, it's not like I'm in a hurry. It should be time for Niklaus to get his first kill. I must make sure to save him from being cursed. Chapter 3 First kills Nick. Ah, brother, what's happening to Niklaus was screaming in pain while a lifeless body lay on the ground. His bones were breaking in an unnatural way and his eyes turned from the usual red to gold yellow. Mikael, in hearing the scream of Niklaus, rush over to him. Elijah, Niklaus. Ah, what is happening to me, brother? Mikael, seeing Niklaus like that, he stopped Elijah after coming to a conjecture of what he was. Niklaus, father, it hurts. Niklaus called out onto his father, begging for help while suffering in pain. After some times, Niklaus finished his transformation and look at the duo. Mikael, he is a beast, an abomination. Elijah, look after Niklaus while I have a talk with your mother. Elsewhere, Esther was busy doing the daily chores, when she saw a furious Mikael coming towards her. Mikael, woman, explain yourself about the twins this instant. When Esther heard the words of Mikael, her perception of time stopped. The biggest secrets of her life, her infidelity. She didn't know what to do. Mikael, answer me, Esther. After Freya passed away, you distance yourself from me and I needed comfort. Mikael, so you decided to lay with a beast, a monster who is also responsible of the death of our son. I'm sorry, Esther said while crying. Mikael left with rage in his eyes and went on a massacre. He mutied an entire pack of wolves. He went home bloody and forced Esther to put a curse on Niklaus, suppressing his werewolf side, and went to look for the other twin. Viktor POV, saw everything that happened and I cannot let anything happen to Niklaus. So my first cause of action is to get rid of the doppelganger, Tatia, whose blood was an ingredient in the spell. Besides, Elijah is going to kill her anyway, so to save him the stress and trauma, I will help him and trigger my curse. I vamped speed to Tatia's house and saw her resting on her bed. Tatia, what are you doing in my home and my bedroom? She asked me while feeling confused on who she is talking to, whether is Niklaus or Viktor. Viktor, and this is nothing personal, love, I said as I rushed to her and my vampire face appeared, scaring the living daylight out of her. I brought my face to her neck and bit her. After I drank her to the last, I threw her lifeless body to floor. Doppelgangers are sure troublesome, I said while thinking of Katrina and Elena. As I was in my thought, I felt pain I've never felt before. I quickly cast a silencing spell in the room to keep my screams from going out. After what felt like eternity, I felt a surging newfound strength through my body. I grinned. Finally, I'm a tribrid, the first one. I looked to the Mikaelson's compound and disappeared from my spot. General Pav Mikael. Elijah, hold him down. Niklaus, brother, don't let them do this to me. Elijah was torn on what to do. On one hand was his little brother while on the other hand was his father. Mikael, seeing his son hesitating, yelled at him. Mikael, do it now boy, now. Elijah finally moved, obeying his father. He held Niklaus while Mikael tied to the wooded cross. Niklaus whispering, help me. Niklaus begged but no one heard his plea. When he was about to lose hope, his salvation came. He saw the silhouette of someone running towards them before hitting Mikael and Elijah, separating them from Klaus. Klaus, brother, you came. Viktor. Of course, I will never abandon any of my siblings. Mikael, there you are boy, decided to come out of hiding, huh? Viktor, who said I was hiding from you? Mikael, no matter, the both of you must undergo the ritual. Viktor was wondering how the hell did his mother still have a doppelganger blood? Did she do what Klaus did in the TVD series, where he drained Elena of her blood, while making sure she is still alive? He looked at his father knowing fully well, he can't win against Mikael right now due to the fact that Mikael is a warrior and a full-grown man when he turned further augmenting his strength further. The spell that he used to turn was just to remove their weakness to the sun and vervain, given that the white oak stick couldn't be used against them while adding the abilities to manipulate blood and shadow. But he can use magic. Thinking about this, a grin appeared on his face. Elijah, brother, leave, I will take it from here. Viktor, didn't you hear me when I said that I wouldn't abandon any of my siblings? Elijah Mikael. Elijah, how dare you side with them? Elijah, they are my brothers, so I'll side with them. Viktor, knowing he can't win against Mikael with brute force, he decided to use magic. Me ne de qual surenta. He chanted the incantation for the spell. He used the famous neck-snapping spell on Mikael, who instantly fell on the ground. Esther, seeing this, wanted to cast a similar spell on them but was rendered unable to speak. Viktor was surprised because he wasn't the one who cast the spell, so he looked around and saw Cole smiling triumphantly. Cole, was I late? No, brother, you right on time. He returned the smile back and continued, Phasmatos somnus, which put Esther to sleep. Viktor, let's go. The spell won't last long, especially the one I used on father. He has a very strong willpower that might shorten the duration of the spell. They vamped speed out of there while going to meet up with Finn and Rebecca. They explained about everything that happened that day. Rebecca punched Elijah for being an accomplice in wanting to help their parents suppress Nick's werewolf side. Back at the Mikaelsons' compound, Esther woke to see Mikael and someone she wasn't expecting to see, Ayana, her friend and mentor. Ayana, I told you that what you are going to do will unleash a plague to the world, but you refused. Now see what kind of creatures you made. The spirits are giving you a chance to correct your mistakes. I hope you heed my advice this time. Chapter 4, Showdown at the Boundary of the Settlement. Cole, what are we going to do now? Finn, we'll wait until father and mother calm down, then we talk to them. Niklaus, are you even listening to your own words, brother Viktor? Nick, calm down. I'm not sure about that, brother. Father has already labeled I and Nick as a beast and abomination. Elijah, so what are you suggesting we do, brother Cole? I say we run. They all looked at Cole while Rebecca made her way to the edge of the settlement but discovered that it was blocked. Rebecca, not to bust your bubbles, Cole, but I think we are trapped. Knowing her mother, she would do something like this, thinking they will run away. Viktor, a boundary spell, but I don't know which one mother made. Cole, this is a good time to test my new ability. Finn, what do you mean new ability? Cole, oh, after we were made this way, I discovered that I can absorb magic from other sources with magic. Pretty good, right Viktor? What, when did you notice it, Cole? When I absorbed the magic from Nick's necklace. Viktor was shocked to find out that Cole became Siphoner after he became a vampire and decided to check if he was also one. A smile appeared on his face when he siphoned the magic out of his necklace. He wondered if this was the surprise that the old man was talking about when he had a voice in his head. Brat, who are you calling an old man? Forget it, that was my surprise for you. You and Cole are different from the other siphoners, because you can cast spells and do any magical stuffs without siphoning magic from any sources. You have your own magic, and you can also siphon from others. Viktor grinned and looked at Cole. Let's give it a try, brother. Elsewhere, Mikael, are you going to listen to her, woman? Esther, I have no choice, Mikael. They are also different from you. They don't get burned under the sun, and I'm not even sure if what I'm about to do will kill them. Mikael, kill them? Are you even listening to yourself right now? Woman, they are our children. Esther, I know, that's why I'm preparing a resurrection spell for them. The only problem is that is not perfected. Also, I told you before we did what we did. Mikael, do whatever you want, but mark my words, if anything goes south, I will kill you myself, and that Ayana by H. Esther wasn't sure what she planned to do will work, but she has to do it. The spirits are angry with her. She brought monsters to the world and she is the only one who can stop them. After all, she is their mother. As Esther finished her preparations, she felt the boundary spell she used on the settlement weakening and panicked, wondering what her children were doing. They shouldn't know the spell she used because she and Ayana were the ones who created this new boundary spell. But now is getting weak. She looked at Mikael and said, "We have to go now. The children, they doing something to the spell." Mikael held her in vamp speed from their location, not seeing Anya coming. "Ayana, I hope you do what you should, Esther, or you will force me to use the spells. She used to make the first immortals to hunt your children. At the boundary of the settlement, Viktor. We are almost done, Cole." After he found out that he and Cole can siphon magic, they began to siphon the boundary spell magic. Mikael, not so fast, boy. Esther waved her hands and Viktor and Cole were flung to the side. "Rebecca, what are you doing, mother?" Rebecca said as she ran to her brothers. "Finn, mother, father, what is the meaning of this?" Mikael, "Stay out of these, boy. I just need Viktor and Niklaus." "Elijah, you will have to go through as father, if you want to get to them." Rebecca, "Absolutely." Rebecca and Elijah stood in front of Klaus, Cole and Viktor to defend them. Rebecca was just like her counterpart who wanted to kill her own father for maltreating Niklaus in the original series. Mikael, "Hiding like the cowards you are. I see." Niklaus, "I was never afraid of you, father." Mikael looked at his children and looked at his wife and said, "Woman, are you sure what you plan to do will work?" He didn't want to see his children die, and worse, at his own hands. Even if Niklaus and Viktor weren't his, he was still the one who named them, and it wasn't their fault that they were born out of their mother's affair, but it pains him, for they will always remind him of that, and his pride as man won't let him accept them easily. "Esther, I'm sure." She lied. Viktor could see it. She was doing it to save her skin. Those bastards must have threatened her, so she must kill them. Viktor looked at Mikael, knowing fully well he can't best him in a fight. If they were still human he might have a chance, but now they were newly turned vampires and they won't receive their perk until 10 years later. Mikael can beat him now, but he has the numbers and Mikael is alone. "Viktor, is this the only way, mother?" Esther just looked at her son and closed her eyes and began chanting her spell, but was distracted by Rebecca, who wanted to stop, but instead Esther snapped her neck. Niklaus rushed to Rebecca, but before he could get to her, Mikael got to him first and used a white oak stake he kept for safekeeping, which Esther has powered, and staked Klaus's heart. Elijah, Cole and Finn were terrified, knowing the stake could kill them, but what they saw left them aghast. Niklaus didn't show any sign that he was dying. "Mikael, it's not working, woman." "Esther, it was supposed to work. The stake was powered by my magic." "Ayana, what atrocities have you created, Esther?" They all looked at Ayana, who came looking surprised because it looked like the one she used when she made the first immortals. Luckily she also made a cure. She looked at Mikael and came to a firm stand to use him. "Esther, I don't know why it didn't work. Don't tell Viktor. You did something." "Viktor, I just tweaked the spell a little." Ayana decided to use one of her last resort to kill them. "Ayana, since you can't die, I will have to imprison you all for eternity." Ayana lied, trying to throw them off, give her the chance to cast a protection spell on herself and desiccate Mikael to make use of him, for she can't beat these monsters that can't die. She looked to Esther and said, "Forgive me, my friend, but you brought this on yourself." As she snapped her fingers, Esther became lifeless. Her body fell to the ground. The Mikaelsons were shocked and eyes burned in hatred looked at Anya, especially Niklaus, who was loved by his mother dearly despite their recent altercations. "Niklaus, what have you done?" Niklaus said as his eyes turned gold yellow. Chapter 5, Always and Forever, Birth of the Original Vampire Hunter. Niklaus, what have you done? Niklaus said as his eyes turned gold yellow. "Ayana, I will need a sacrifice for what I'm about to do, so your mother is the only one who can die among you." "Cole, how dare you?" Cole vamped speed to Ayana, but someone beat him to it. "Michael, what gave you the right to kill my wife?" Ayana, this is what I was hoping for." Ayana was glad that Michael was the one who came for her as she used the desiccation spell on him. Elijah, seeing his father at the mercy of Ayana, rushed to her and snapped her neck. Ayana died, but Viktor felt something was wrong. She died too easily, but he couldn't pinpoint it. The Mikaelsons took their parents and left to the Mikaelsons' compound and buried Esther close to Henrik. The Mikaelsons all gathered around each other when Rebecca spoke. "Rebecca, I know you think she hates us, especially you both, Viktor and Niklaus, but she did not." Silent for a moment, she was just afraid. I'm sorry she turned her back on you, but I will never do that. Elijah, nor will I. Everyone looked at Elijah as said that as Rebecca continued. Rebecca, we stick together as one, always and forever. They all held hands together and they made the vow on the very ground they buried mother to always stand by each other and be there for one another always and forever. Cole, so what are we going to do with father? They turned to Michael, whose body lay desiccated. Finn, let's take him with us. After all, we don't have anything to do here in the settlement, so let's just leave and take him to us. Elijah, I'll agree with Finn. Viktor wanted to agree with them, but then he remembered the old man said that Freya will be coming to the settlement. She and Henrik will join them in their journey. Then if they left Michael and Henrik as resurrected, then they all will meet up together later, and only Freya can melt the hardened heart of the current Michael. Viktor, I say we leave him here. Rebecca, why should we abandon our father, Viktor Niklaus? He must have his reason and I will stand by him. Everyone looked at each other and Viktor and Niklaus, waiting for Viktor to explain. Viktor, I don't know how to explain this, but it will better for everyone if what I plan happened. Finn and Elijah weren't liking the idea of leaving their father here, but after everything that happened, they should give some space. After all, he is a grown man, he can take care of himself. The Mikaelson siblings decided to leave their father and move on with their lives, so they left the settlement to open a new beginning. Back at the boundary of the settlement, Ayana woke up with a gasp after she experienced death. Good thing she used a protection spell on herself, if not she would have died for sure. Now the next plan of action. She went to the Mikaelsons' compound and found out that the siblings had left, but they didn't take Michael with. She smiled when she saw this. Ayana, foolish children, they left their father in settlement thinking I'm dead. I never wanted to do this, but I have to for the greater good. It takes only a monster to hunt a monster. Ayana plans to use the spell that her ancestor used long ago to make the first immortals. Even if she herself will go against nature, she will, because she can't let the Mikaelson siblings to roam about as they like. They are a plague in this world and they needed to be purged. She used a memory creation spell to give him a fabricated memory, making him think it was Viktor and Niklaus who killed their mother out of anger when she tried to suppress their werewolves side, depriving them of their true heritage. Then she used the immortality spell on Michael, making him a true immortal being that can't die from any harm. At first she wasn't sure if she'd do it because she didn't have the cure of this immortality spell she used, but she has an inkling to where she could get it, so she took the gamble and used it on him, and since he was dead it wouldn't cause a doppelganger effect. When she was done with Mikhail and went to Esther's grave. Ayana, I'm sorry for what I did, but it was for the best. Your children are monster that can't die, so I have to turn your husband against his own children. Even at that I'm still not sure if he will succeed, but I'm willing to take a gamble. She used the preservation spell on Esther's body after she dug out her body from the earth and placed in remote cave, which she sealed. Ayana, this is the best I can do for you, my friend. After a few hours passed, Michael woke up and looked around him. His face turned into a frown and anger when he saw Ayana. Michael, where is my wife's body? Ayana, I took care of it. I know you must be feeling devastated about what happened. Even I'm devastated that my friend had to die to her own children. That's why we must work together to end them. They are plagues that need to be purged. Michael did not even listen to her. He was so angry with Viktor and Niklaus. How dare those beasts kill his wife and turned his own children on him. He can't let them be. He must kill them. Michael, where are they? Viktor and Niklaus, where did they go? Ayana, they left the settlement. I don't know where they are now, but with time you can get to them. Michael, good. What did you do to me? Ayana, I made you a true immortal. Your children are dangerous than you think. What could kill you cannot kill them, so I made you unkillable so that you might stand a chance against them. Since they can't die, I will tell you where you might be able to find a cure to turn them into normal humans, depriving them of their immunity to death and you yourself. Mikhail and Ayana talked for some time, after which Michael left the settlement in search of his children. Chapter 6 Southern France, 1002 Year 1002, Southern France. Cole, who is ready for the next course. Finn, Cole, I know I'm just joking. Rebecca, sigh, such pretty clothes, what a shame they will go waste. Elijah, Rebecca, we discussed this. Rebecca, no, you discussed this, none of us have a say in the matter. This lots are traveling somewhere, their cart is full of silk and jewelry, 5 of them, ops, 6 of us. Wherever they were going to, Why don't we just go in their stead? Elijah, first of all, Rebecca, there are 6 of us and 5 of them. Second, we don't know the custom of these people. How are we going to fit in? The Mikaelsons just looked at the bickering Rebecca and Elijah, when Niklaus smelled someone. Due to his werewolf heritage not being suppressed, his senses were heightened more than others except from Viktor. Niklaus, shish, I think I smelled someone. Viktor, hearing his brother, remembered this scene. He looked at where the famous Lucian castle hid himself. He walked there and removed the cloth covering him. Lucian, being discovered, tried to run away but was surrounded by the Mikaelsons. Rebecca, aren't you a handsome one, Cole? All I see is dessert. Lucian became scared silly when he heard Cole. Lucian, wait, please, I can help you. Viktor, and how, if I may ask? Lucian, I am the personal servant of the Count de Martel. I heard what you were talking about. I was supposed to escort them to the castle of the Count for a lengthy stay. I know their customs as well as their court habit. If you suppose to pose as the people you slaughtered here, I can help you fit in, please. Rebecca, please let us keep him. Elijah, Rebecca, no. What's our most important rule? Rebecca, never leave alive someone who Cole and Rebecca have seen what we are. Elijah, thank you, a practice that has served us very well indeed. Finn, she has a point, he may be of use to us. Cole, a proper family squabble. Niklaus, perhaps we should put it into a vote. All those in favor of letting him live. Rebecca and Finn raised their hands when Cole said. Cole, those inclined to gut him. Cole and Elijah raised their hands, leaving Viktor and Niklaus to vote. Viktor, I say we let him live. We can't continue to live like this, like animals. We should at least behave like normal people for once, even if we are not normal per se. Cole, Nick, what shall it be? Niklaus looked at Lucian, which the latter did the same. Niklaus, I say we keep him. Viktor, all right, that's done. Now to the most important matter here. There are 6 of us while there are 5 of them. Lucian, I can get you something to wear when we get close to the castle. Viktor, all right then, let's go. They made their way to the Count castle while learning the ways of nobles from Lucian. When they got close to the castle, Lucian went to get a clothes from God knows where and brought it for Viktor, who took it and changed. After a few minutes, they arrived at the ballroom. Lucian, here, you see the Count de Martel. You address him as your grace and all the other nobles as my lord, and when you speak to the Count, you should speak of hunting. He loves his horses and his hounds, and how deep, my lady Rebecca. He also relishes a healthy cleavage, and for God's sake all of you should stop looking up. The Mikaelson siblings were looking around them. This is the first time they've seen a castle. Even though Viktor was a reincarnator, this is also his first time seeing one in person, not to talk the least of entering one. Lucian straightened Cole's dress, which Cole did not take well, and whispered to Lucian's ear. Cole, touch me again and I will rip your arm straight off your show. Finn, behave, Cole, or I will bury you under the ground to rot. Rebecca, this isn't going to work, is it? Lucian, calm down, just do as we practiced. I know that you look lovely, my lady. Elijah, Niklaus and Viktor were at the back of the group. Niklaus, are you worried, brother Elijah? We placing our trust at the hands of a complete stranger. Niklaus. Viktor, don't worry, brother, everything will work out fine. Elijah, if you say so, brother. They got to the Count, whom Lucian bowed to. De Martel. Lucian, you were supposed to fetch the Count to Cuesta. Lucian, indisposed, your grace. Gout, may I present his children, the Lord Finn, Elijah, Viktor, Niklaus and Cole, and of course the lovely lady Rebecca. The Count looked at the Mikaelson siblings, never hearing about them before. He stood up to address them. De Martel, your father has never mentioned you to me before in any of our dealings. Viktor quickly replied, not wanting to make it awkward like in the series. Viktor, your grace, do forgive us. Our father has always distanced himself with all his travels. We were mainly raised by servants. Elijah, however, I do know that he would be very pleased if we were introduced to society by your noble hands, your grace. Niklaus, your grace, I look forward to hearing tales of your hunting escapades. May I present our sister? Rebecca moved forward to introduce herself. She bowed low enough for the Count. Rebecca to Cuesta, at your service, your grace. The Count looked at Rebecca, trying to get a good view of assets. Viktor thought in his heart to kill this man before they leave his castle. How dare he look at his sister indecently? Everything went fine as everyone went about doing what they felt like doing. Niklaus and Lucian. Niklaus, you've proven to be of immense help. Lucian, of course my lord. Niklaus, though I'll say you don't seem at all disturbed leading us to your master's home. Lucian, my master is cruel drunkard who torments his minions for sports, beggars who seek supper, vassals who cannot pay a debt like my own father. All this gentle folk behind their silks and jewels, they are slavers, killers. Whatever evil you are all among greater evils to him. What do I care if you kill a lot of them? Niklaus smiled when he heard Lucian's word. Everyone's attention were drawn to the two individuals walking into the ballroom. Niklaus turned to look who they were. Niklaus, who are they? Lucian. They are the Count's children, the Lord Tristan and his sister, Lady Aurora. Niklaus, she is exquisite. He looked at Aurora with a new light in his eyes as he was fascinated by her beauty. She also looked back at him and smiled. Lucian, yes, as her brother is wicked, might suggest that you stay away from them completely. Niklaus, oh, would she really be such a threat to someone like me? Lucian, the Lady Aurora doesn't need teeth to tear a man's soul out, one need only stare at her eyes and be lost. Viktor saw all this from a corner and just shake his head when he saw his brother's love-struck face and that of Lucian, wondering what they saw in her anyway. Chapter 7. First Sire Viktor Pov. Over the year of our stay in France, I was hoping Freya and Henrik would be here by now, but I was wrong. Damn, what was taking them so long? I've gotten pretty good with my vampire abilities such as compulsion, the mind-related abilities like dream manipulation and most importantly blood manipulation. I can't do major things with the blood manipulation like Quinn in my vampire system, but I'm getting there, and I might even surpass him due to my 10 years increase in strength. Niklaus and I have also shifted to our werewolf forms, and what we became baffled us. We were as big as the wolves in Twilight, unlike the wolves in this world. In my wolf form, my furs are black with red eyes while Klaus's is brown with gold-yellow eyes. Also, we've also discovered to be able to turn like the teen wolf forms, meaning we have 2 wolf forms, but the problem is we can't turn someone into a wolf, which I assume is due to the world law. After we showed our siblings our werewolf form, Rebecca has always pestered me and Klaus into giving her rides, which I took the liberty of indulging her. My siblings have also know about their abilities to manipulate blood, and I assume the shadow manipulation will awaken later. My siblings have not found out about the ability of compulsion, and I don't want that to happen, because either I or Elijah will have to compel a certain Yandere, and I don't want Nick to find out she was compelled. Now, we are attending an event held by the Count. I sat down with Niklaus, who was having a chat with Lucian, who was giving Niklaus a letter for his Lady Aurora. Niklaus tried to dissuade him from cursing Aurora, but Lucian did not listen to him. After he gave Nick the letter, he left, and I saw Nick having a contemplative face. I sighed as I said, "You have to tell him, brother. You can't hide it forever." To which Nick replied, "I know, but I can't just tell him. Viktor, he is in love with her for years, and I just come out of nowhere and steal the heart of the girl he loves. I wanted to tell him that she isn't right for him, but I just kept quiet. I am just waiting for Henrik and Freya to come, and I will be out of this hellhole they call the castle, after which I will kill a certain count." General Pov. Late at night, Niklaus and Aurora were making out in a corner of the castle. Niklaus, I have something from Lucian. Aurora, forget about him. Let's enjoy our moment, she said as she discarded the letter sent to her by Lucian after Niklaus gave it to her without even reading it. While they were making out, someone came and saw them making out. With a devastated look he cried out, drawing their attention. "Lucian, what are you doing with him?" "Aurora, Aurora, keep quiet. I told my brother I was going for night prayer." Lucian could not believe his eyes. The woman whom he loved and desired to be with is making out with a man she doesn't even fully know. "Lucian, do you know what kind of a man he is?" "Aurora." "Niklaus." "Lucian, my friend, please." Lucian interrupted him. "Lucian, and you, I trusted you and you betrayed me." All the shouting drew the attention of Tristan, who came with his personal guards, but before he could get to them Niklaus has already left on behest of Aurora. Tristan, seeing only Lucian and his sister, was infuriated that he didn't listen to Lucian's plea. Elsewhere, Elijah and Viktor were outside feeding when Nick came to them. "Niklaus, I need your help." "Elijah, and how may we be of help to you, brother?" Niklaus explained everything that happened to them, and Viktor frowned, knowing that the Count children are trouble. If it wasn't for his wish which made them completely immortals, he would have killed them early, including that Lucian who created the beast serum, but now they aren't worth the effort. In fact, he will allow Lucian to create the beast serum just to humor him. Viktor. I knew they were going to be troublesome. Niklaus. This isn't the time for lectures, brother. We have to save him. They vamped speed to Tristan torture chamber and saw what the bloody psychopath have done. He already scarred Lucian's face. Viktor. I guess we are late. Niklaus, aggrieved by what has happened to Lucian, looked at Tristan with anger. Tristan. What are you going to do? He is a mere servant. What gave him the right to even try to have an affair with my sister? Tristan does not know about them like he did in the series because Cole isn't as bloodthirsty as his counterpart due to being a heretic, making him have control over himself. Viktor. Why don't you say that again? I'm itching to have a go at you. Now that they don't have Mikael coming for them, he can just kill this Tristan guy and let Aurora be alone all by herself after he kills her father. That will be a very good motivation for her to desire revenge, which he assumed Lucian would gladly help her with just to win her affection. And what happened in the series when Lucian created the beast serum might happen, and there will be no need to compel her. He laughed in his heart when he thought of his plan as a grand plan. Tristan, what can you do to me? Remember, you are in my father's castle and I can do whatever, even if it is to kill you. Viktor. Oh, I like this. There is going to be a massacre very soon. Elijah. Brother, there is no need for threat, we can deal with this like gentlemen. Viktor. How long have you known me, brother? I'm never a gentleman when it comes to uprooting weeds. Elijah talked with Tristan before he left while Klaus pulled Lucian down from his torture to try and comfort him. Lucian stabbed Klaus in a fit of rage, blaming him for his torture and for his affair with Aurora. Klaus proved that he couldn't be killed by the blade and turned it on Lucian with his blood still on. The blade cut Lucian's hand, mixing Klaus's blood into the wound. To Klaus and Lucian's surprise, the cut and wounds on his face healed almost immediately, revealing that Klaus's blood had healed him. Believing that he was now a vampire, Lucian stormed out of the dungeon with the knife and tried to murder Tristan, but was stabbed in the back and killed by one of the guards. Elsewhere, the Mikaelsons can be seen in the middle of a forest holding a burial rite for Lucian. Finn. So you said your blood healed him, Niklaus. Niklaus. Yes, brother, but it can't bring back the dead. Finn. Then we can save lives with this. Before Finn could dream about philanthropic dreams, Viktor spoke. Viktor. Finn, I will advise you against that. And besides this, Lucian is a fool, just having healed from his injuries from Nyx. What makes him think he is like us? Even we had to die to be. Viktor paused, making a fake expression as if he was thinking of something when he looked at Lucian, knowing he is going to wake up soon. His siblings also looked at Lucian when they heard Viktor's word, after which Lucian woke up with a gasp, proving their theory. Chapter 8. Henrik and Freya. The Mikaelsons saw Lucian waking up, confirming their recent theory. When a human dies with their blood in their system, they become like them. Viktor turned to look at Finn and said, Are you still thinking of helping people with your blood, brother? Finn. I think I'll pass. The siblings laughed at that. Then they looked at Lucian, who was looking at them confused. He was dead not too long ago and now he is alive. Then it hit him, he should be like them, that's why he didn't die. While he was ecstatic, he didn't notice his surrounding until Elijah asked him a question. Elijah. Lucian, how are you feeling? Lucian. I've never felt better. Viktor just looked at Lucian like an experimental subject. He was wondering how the vampires of this current world would differ from the series, since they themselves are different from the series. Cole. All right, if he is like us, then he will have to feed to complete his transition like we did. So who is going to show him the rope? I for one, I have better things to do. Niklaus. I will be responsible for him, after all it was my fault all this happened. Viktor. I can take care of his training, Viktor said, wanting to torture Lucian a little and try to find out what is difference between the one the current them turned and the ones turned in the series. Elijah. All right then, it is settled. Niklaus will show him how to feed while Viktor will teach him about his newfound strength. The Mikaelsons dispersed and they went to their business. Niklaus and Lucian were left there. Niklaus led Lucian to the chapel, which was the only place where Lucian could feed without being disturbed. Lucian fed on women in a chapel, completing his transition into the first non-original vampire and first member of Klaus' sire line. He then thanked Klaus, telling him he was no longer mad at him because he had given him the gift of immortality and saying that they were as close as brothers now. Klaus then showed Lucian how to properly feed. Aurora appeared, catching them feeding. Lucian tried to approach her but was stopped by Rebecca, who showed her own fangs. Aurora ran in fear. Rebecca, don't you guys know how to look at your surroundings before you act? Niklaus, I should go after her. Rebecca, never mind, she is my friend, I will go after her myself. Rebecca vamped speed to Aurora's room to check on her while explaining what happened, for she believed Lucian to be dead and now she saw him drinking an innocent woman's blood while also telling her about her family. Just like that, weeks passed and Viktor have gotten his results from Lucian. He found out that Lucian cannot die from normal wood, which made him to theorize that only the white oak stake could kill those they sire directly. Lucian is like an original in the series. The only difference is that he isn't an original, which means he does not have a sire bond with the ones he will sire, and also he can be compelled by them. Viktor made him a daylight ring for serving him well in his experiment. After Rebecca met with Aurora and explained everything, she became less afraid around Niklaus, but there was a problem. Her brother Tristan, he found out about her having an affair with Niklaus and told her to end it, but she couldn't. Aurora begged Niklaus to turn her like he did to Lucian, but he couldn't. He told her the disadvantages that Lucian have, but she was adamant, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. Aurora, suffering from profound grief and from the demons in her mind, slit her wrists. Rebecca found her and gave her some of her blood, telling her to cherish her human life, not knowing it was a ploy to get Rebecca's to give her blood. She was healed by the vampire blood in her system. However, moments later, hoping to be reunited with Klaus, she committed suicide by throwing herself out a window in an attempt to become a vampire, just as Lucian had. Her suicide with Rebecca's blood in her system led to her transforming into the first vampire of Rebecca's sire line. She revealed her transformation to Klaus, which he didn't take well at first but gave in after a while. With the Mikaelson skull, what's with you guys going around turning people you like into? Damn it, we need a name for ourselves. After Niklaus told the rest of the Mikaelsons about Aurora turning into vampire, they gathered around to discuss how to manage two more beings like them. Viktor, I think vampire will be a nice name for our new species. Cole, I'll say. It has a nice ring to it. Vampires, how did you come up with that name? Brother, Elijah. Please, we should leave that for later and discuss our current situation. Viktor, I agree with Elijah. Now we've been here for over a year now and we haven't heard any rumors about our existence, but ever since Lucian became a vampire, rumors has been going around about a demon who comes at night to feed on people's blood, and now we have an extra. Care to explain, Rebecca? Rebecca, brother, I swear I never knew she was planning all that just to become like us. Elijah, well, since you are the one who turned her, then you have to take care of her. Do you understand? Rebecca, I do, brother. Niklaus, I will assist Rebecca with Aurora's case. Cole, aren't you a lover boy? Nick, Finn. Enough, Cole. Now with all the rumors, we can't linger around here anymore, and I think we've overstayed our welcome here. Elijah, I agree with Finn on that note. We should get ready to move after the Count's birthday party. Rebecca, sigh, I will have to say goodbye to all these once again. Cole, finally, I can go look for some witches and learn spells from their grimoire. Viktor, you know they won't just hand it to you, right? Cole, I can be persuasive, brother. The Mikaelsons dispersed and got ready for their journey. Niklaus and Rebecca taught Aurora what they knew about their abilities as vampires. Niklaus also told Aurora about their departure, which Aurora told him that she will come with him. On the night of the Count's birthday party, the Mikaelsons gathered around having their usual family squabbles while laughing at themselves when two individuals walked in, one male and the other female. The female appeared to be older than the male. They both had curly blonde hairs. The Mikaelsons were surprised because they knew that the male with her was dead, while they don't know the female, not until they heard Finn's voice. Finn, Freya, you are back, and you too, little Henrik. You are alive, but how? They all looked to their long-lost sister and dead brother and also turned to Viktor when he asked. Viktor, where is father? Chapter 9, Henrik and Freya, final part. Flashback. After Esther turned her children into vampires, two things happened. 1. In a certain location lay two beds, which housed two individuals sleeping in it. One of the said person's eyes opened, looking around confused. She was supposed to be asleep for 100 years to wake up for 1 year, but why did she awaken this soon? Or has the 100 years passed by so soon? She then looked at her aunt, who were still sleeping in her bed. She wondered why she woke up this early. She decided to wait if her aunt would wake up shortly after, if not then she will run away and find her way back to her family. Seeing no sign of her aunt's awakening, she decided to run away, never looking back. That's how she started her journey back to her family. The second thing that happened was a boy who should have died woke up in a void full of darkness. He looked around him trying to figure out where he was when he heard a voice. "Fret not, young one, you were supposed to be dead, but I made a deal with someone to keep you alive," the boy asked the voice who wanted him alive. "You are not permitted to know that, but just know you will be here for a while, so I grant you the privilege of watching your family till you wake up." As the voice said, he was teleported back to his family but could not communicate with they when he tried, which left him saddened. He watched as his siblings fought with their parents, how Iana killed his mother and turned his father against his children. He couldn't do anything but just watched all this happen to his family. He vowed to get back at that Iana when he comes back alive. Just like that, a month passed by. A woman with a curly blonde hair walked into the settlement. She made her way to the Mikaelson's compound but found out that it was empty. Before she came to the new world, she has gone to their previous home in Norway, but she couldn't find anyone, so she used a locator spell and came here, but it was still void of anyone, so she decided to ask around, which led her to Iana. "Iana, how may I help you, young child? Sorry that to disturb you, but I'm looking for my family." Iana looked at her for a moment. She has a slight resemblance to the Mikaelsons. "Iana, and who are you, if I may ask?" "Sorry once again. My name is Freya Mikaelson." Iana felt another headache coming her way. She was happy with her life when the Mikaelsons left the settlement, but now another one came. Little did she know that is the least of her worries. Iana told her what happened, from how Henrik died to when her mother turned her children to monsters, to how Viktor and Niklaus killed Esther and framed their father after they found out that they were not his sons, how Mikael in his rage decided to hunt his children. Freya was saddened by what she heard about her father and her siblings. Heck, she didn't care about what happened to mother. Her mother died when she gave her up to Dahlia. She decided to pass her respect to her late brother before going in search of the rest of her siblings. When she got to Henrik's grave, she noticed something weird when suddenly a hand bust out. She quickly ran to his aid knowing it was her brother's grave, but before she could get to him, someone jumped out of the grave and stood in front of her. Completely different from what she thought. Her brother was supposed to be 13, but now he looked to be 18 to 19. "Freya, who are you?" Henrik looked at his sister before he looked at himself. He has grown a lot this past month. Even he didn't know what happened but just assumed it to be caused by the voice he heard in the void. "Henrik, sister, it's me Henrik, and Iana lied to you. She was the one who killed mother and framed Viktor and Niklaus. Then she changed father's memories into thinking that," Henrik said as veins started appearing around his eyes. Freya saw his eyes and decided to suppress the anger building in her. "Freya, what's happening to your eyes?" Henrik, I guess I'm like our siblings now, and I am thirsty." Freya, "Let me go get you some water." Henrik, "No, not water. I need blood, and I know just the person to drink from," Henrik said as he vamped speed to Iana's house. Seeing his direction, Freya knew where her brother was going, so she decided to follow him, while also surprised by his speed. When she got to Iana's house, she could see Henrik looking at Iana with fury in his eyes. "Iana, how is this possible? You were dead. We all saw you die. How can you be alive?" Freya walked to her brother and looked at Iana with anger. "Freya, you were the one who killed my mother. As if that wasn't enough, you manipulated my father's memories into thinking that my brothers were the ones who killed her and also destroying my family in the process. All for what?" Freya said as she slammed Iana to a wall with magic. "Iana, cough, your siblings were monster. They are an abomination. I thought it was the spell Esther made, but I think it has something to do with you Mikaelson's children," Iana said as she looked at Freya and Henrik, cursing at all the Mikaelsons for refusing to die. "Henrik, now with all the questions out of the way, time for my meal," Henrik said as he rushed at Iana and drank her dry. After he was done, he and Freya decided to look for their siblings, which Freya has already used a locator spell to find their location. Flashback ends. The Mikaelson's siblings all listened to Henrik and Freya's story when Cole said, "Cole, So you are saying that Iana didn't die when Elijah killed her and now father has been brainwashed into thinking Viktor and Niklaus killed our mother and put the blame on him, making his children turn against him, and when you died you heard a voice saying something about our family making a deal with him. He brought you back but not completely, which enabled you to see all that, and when you did come back to life you became like this. Henrik. Yes. Cole. Damn, how does that even make sense? Elijah. Nothing makes sense in our family. Cole, now that we know father will be coming for us, that's more reason we should hasten our departure, so I suggests we move tonight. Chapter 10. Leaving France in the middle of the night. There were 8 people on a rooftop, standing together. Viktor, we can't run like this from father forever. I'm not against moving from one place to another, but not because we are running from someone, especially father, Viktor said, not wanting to indulge his siblings into running away for 1,000 of years from their father like in the series. Freya. I agree with you, but we can't kill him, he is our father. Cole. Am I forgetting something? But didn't Henrik said something father being immortal now? Henrik. Yes, Iana made him immortal, and she also talked about cure for immortality, saying she had an idea on where she could find it. Viktor looked at Henrik when he heard that Iana had an idea on where the cure for Silas was. Even himself only knew where that Silas was imprisoned in an island. Well, she might know. After all, it was her ancestor who made it. Elijah, so you are saying that there is a cure for our immortality? Henrik. I don't think so, brother. Elijah. Why did you say that? Henrik thought of what Iana said before she died. Henrik. Iana said. Our immortality had nothing to do with the spell mother cast on you guys. She said it had to do with us Mikaelson's children. Cole. What's so special about us anyway? How will they be able to know that their immortality didn't come from the spell their mother used to turn them into a vampire, but from a single wish made by someone? Viktor. Since the cure can't affect us and we don't know where the cure is, we will just have to get father, find a way to give him back his memory. But for now let's just leave this place, and we are going to need a diversion from father, so we have to turn 5 more people into vampires. Henrik. Vampires? And what do you mean turn? Rebecca. That's the name we made for ourselves. Impressive, right? And we can also turn people into vampires by giving them our blood and killing. Damn. Viktor and the rest went to look for the ones they can turn into vampires and compel them to act like them to distract Mikael for a few centuries. By then they would have been so powerful to defeat someone like Anadu, so Mikael will be a breeze for them. Elijah. I already have a person in mind. Finn. Do we have to do this? Isn't there a better option, rather turning some other people? Viktor. A better option is to face father head on, which the currentists don't want to face right now. Freya. We might be able to defeat him, but we can't get back his memories back, which will not be good but a burden to us by dealing with his rage towards Viktor and Niklaus, so we have to find a way to reverse the spell Iana used on father to make him remember what happened. The Mikaelsons agreed on what to do and they went for their respective targets to turn. Later that night the Mikaelsons were ready to move when Aurora came to join, but was stopped by Elijah, who asked her what she wanted. She told Elijah her decision to join them, but Elijah refused, saying it was a family matter and that she isn't family. Aurora refused to back down, but Elijah looked her in the eyes to persuade her but accidentally compelled her, which he noticed as she didn't argue back, making him continue to compel to forget about her love for Niklaus and stay with her family. With that, Aurora left, never looking back. After a while, all the Mikaelsons gathered together when Niklaus came back with a dejected look. Everyone saw him alone and knew what happened, so they could only console him. Cole. Don't worry, brother. You will find another person who will love you more than this Aurora, but I got to say you really are not lucky with women. First Tatia and now Aurora. Finn. Cole will stop your nonsense, and Nick is going to be okay. Just take it as a phase in life. They all gave him a word of encouragement which boosted his spirit a little. Niklaus. Thanks, all of you, but let's just go away from here. The Mikaelsons embark on their journey after Viktor compelled all those that they have turned to believe that they were the Mikaelsons and draw Mikael's attention to them. At the outskirts of the southern France, Rebecca. So where are we going now? Cole. We don't even know anywhere to go. How can we know where we going? Sister. Finn. So now we are wanderers once again. Freya. We just have go with the flow, guys. Henrik. I'll say we make it fun. Elijah. How? Henrik. We race it. Viktor. Are you forgetting that not all of us are vampires? Viktor said as he looked at Freya. Viktor. Actually, I'll take her with me, he said as he transformed into a big black wolf with red eyes. Henrik, whoa, you are big compared to the ones that attacked me, and why are your clothes not torn? Niklaus. Well, actually, Viktor made us a ring to make our clothes remain intact after we transform into wolves. Freya. That's pretty convenient, so should I get on top? She asked Viktor in his wolf form, which he nodded as a reply. She got on top of him and felt his soft and smooth black fur, which she caressed gently. Rebecca. No fair, I wanted that ride, Rebecca said as she complained about being the one who should ride Viktor, but Freya got the chance, so she turned to her alternative. Niklaus. Niklaus. Don't even think about it, Niklaus said as he got ready to run. They all laughed at these as they raced one another to their next destination. Chapter 11 Brotherhood of the Five. Italy 1114. In a center of a town, there gathered a crowd as they watched someone on the platform, a man who was telling them about the creatures of the night, the vampires. These demons live among you, passing as human, so witness with your own eyes. As he said this, he opened a coffin which was placed at the center of the platform, which housed a person who tried to come out but couldn't because he was going to burn under the sun, but he still came out, which made him get caught on fire, making him scream and fell to the ground rolling. When the man who was telling them about the vampires saw this, he was happy and feeling proud about his accomplishment. In midst of the crowd stood 3 originals vampires. Elijah. He's putting on quite a show there. Niklaus. That's nothing, I could eat him for sports. Elijah. Still, you should heed the warning between you here and Cole in the east. You should keep things discreet. Stories about the original vampires are spreading. Niklaus. I will welcome such infamy, but if you are worried about discretion, then you perhaps should wrangle our sister. Viktor. Sigh. She easily falls in love with men she deems handsome and pose a risk to her, Viktor said as he remembered about her love escapades in the series. The 3 brothers looked at their sister playing lovey-dovey with the hunter who just put on the show for the crowd not too long ago. The original siblings have lived for over a century now, and they have had many upgrades for up to 11 decades now, and their abilities have been enhanced so much that they can be called demi-gods in this word. They have also awakened their shadow ability not too long ago, so these pesky hunters isn't even something they should worry about. All they wanted was that the originals remains in dark for now. Rebecca came to them with smiles, which Niklaus took upon himself to destroy, as he said with a smile. Niklaus. You do know, we might have to kill him one of these days, Rebecca, so don't get too attached for your heart's sake. Rebecca. Come on, brother, he is a handsome and a lovely fellow. Why do you have to kill him? Viktor. First, he is a hunter who is trying to kill us off, which is a futile effort. Secondly, he might not even love you, and he is just trying to use you to get to us, which I will say again is a futile effort. Elijah. I have to agree with Viktor on this one, Rebecca. Even though we can't die, we don't want you to experience a heartbreak in your early immortal life. The 3 brothers persuaded her from cursing this hunter guy, but due to her stubbornness she refused. She walked out on them, going her way. Later at the Mikaelson's temporary residence. Freya. Why don't we invite this guy over for a dinner? What was his name again? Rebecca. Rebecca, hearing what her sister said, replied with a beaming smile on her face. Rebecca. His name is Alexander, sister. Cole. So you have already fallen for him so quickly. Damn, such a shame he will have to die. Finn. Shut up, Cole. We know he hunts our kind, but that does not mean we will attack him just like that. If he attacks first, then that is a different story entirely. Rebecca sat there as she listening to her brothers while contemplating on what to do if Alexander truly targets her family. Elijah. Enough, you guys. As Freya said, we should invite him over a dinner and see his motives for her. If he is truly targeting our family, then I assure you guys I will end him myself, Elijah said as he looked at Rebecca and the rest of his siblings with conviction in his eyes. The Mikaelsons agreed, and they all decided to invite him tonight. Later at night, the Mikaelsons all gathered around a table for a meal while waiting for Rebecca and Alexander to come join them. Henrik. What if he has ulterior motives? Viktor. Then we will kill him. Finn. Why are all you thinking that he has ulterior motives? We don't even know if he knows about our existence as vampires, so we should just wait until he comes. Freya. I agree with Finn. We should give him the benefit of doubt for now. As they talking, the man of the hour arrived, with a beaming Rebecca. Rebecca. Everyone, this Alexander, Alex, these are my siblings. Freya. Finn. Elijah, Viktor, Niklaus, Cole and Henrik. Alexander. Whoa, you have such a big family. Hello, my name is Alexander and I've heard a lot about you guys from the lovely Rebecca here. They all sat that and got ready to eat when Viktor called the maids they compelled to serve them. Alexander. Thank you, I have to say. I am unaccustomed to such luxury. Elijah. That's the least we can do to repay for opening our eyes to the truth. I'm curious to hear more about your order, the Crusade. Alexander. We are but 5 men, bound by fire and the last breath of a dying witch to a single cause, the destruction of all vampires. After he said that, all the Mikaelsons looked to each other subtly when Klaus spoke. Niklaus. And how do you hope to achieve this? Alexander. We have the ultimate weapon which no vampire can survive. Viktor. What is this ultimate weapon, if you don't mind my question? Alexander. I would have loved to tell you, but I cannot due to certain reasons. Viktor. Well, that's bad, but just so you know, you are always welcome to our home. Alexander. Thank you. They all ate to their fill, and they called the maid to come clean the table, after which the Mikaelsons and Alexander said to goodbye to each other. Alexander left with Rebecca, who accompanied him. Cole, he definitely knows something, and I can see that he also has an idea about us. Did you see the way he looks at us when he says the word vampires? Freya. I agree with Cole, he knows about our family, which would be dangerous if what this ultimate weapon he talks about can really hurt you. Finn. So what are we going to do now? We can't just attack him not knowing what or where the weapon is. Rebecca. I will get it from him, rest assured. I won't let anything harm my family. They all turned to look at Rebecca, who walked through the door with a solemn face. Chapter 12. The creation of the 5. Flashback 11:10. In the middle of an unknown forest, there were 6 people, 5 men and a woman. The 5 men stood with their chest bare in a pentagon pattern around the woman, who stood in the middle of the 5 men while chanting. Phasmatos Sintu Corpora, e et ariro, quest ero immortalis. Phasmatos, Victoris, e incipio exu ne moris. Syntasia Sintu Corpora, quest ero immortalis. As she was chanting her spell, she held a bowl which was on fire, and lightning could be seen flashing in the surrounding forest. After she was done with incantation, she raised the bowl towards the sky, and lightning struck the bowl of fire, which she placed on the ground, making a fire which spread to the 5 men, who also held a sword, making the sword have a new appearance and also powerful. Tattoos also appeared from their right hands up to their left chest. Flashback ends. Alexander. That's how we became hunters. We were stronger and faster than normal humans. We are at the peak of human capabilities. That's how we're able to stand toe to toe with some vampires, Alexander said to Rebecca, who lay beside him on a bed. Rebecca. So what's the meaning of the tattoo on your body? I bet it has a meaning, seeing that it was made of magic, she said as she run her hand on his body that was tattooed. Alexander. These are maps. Rebecca. Maps, how do you read them? The symbols. Alexander. The maps took my brother and I a long time to translate. The sword is the key to reading it. Alexander took his sword from the table close to the bed and showed Rebecca for her to see. Alexander. Have you considered my offer to come with me when I leave to follow the map? Rebecca. I have, and I would like that very much, Rebecca said as she smiled and kissed him passionately. As the act was going, Rebecca lay her eyes on a dagger on the table. Rebecca. What's that? Alexander. Oh, that's a very special weapon for a very special unique vampires. When I and my brothers achieved our destiny, these monsters will cease to exist. Until then, we have the daggers, he said as he twirled the dagger in his hands. Rebecca. Do you really believe they are all so evil that they must be put down? Alexander. Let us not talk of such evil. Let us do this, Alexander said as he kissed her while reaching for the dagger. Alexander. And this? He stabbed the dagger to Rebecca, who was caught unaware. Rebecca looked at the man she has taking a liking to betrayed her. She should have listened to her siblings. If she had listened, all of these would not have happened. She looked at him as she reached her hands and grabbed his neck and threw him off her, which made a loud noise alerting the Mikaelsons. Rebecca removed the dagger from her chest and looked at Alexander, which eyes were filled with disbelief. The dagger didn't work as it was intended to. He decided to flee, but that was too late. As he was about to run away, he was sent back by a punch. Henrik. Well, that was not what I was expecting from you, Alex boy. Henrik looked at his sister, which clothes were stained with her blood. Henrik. Should we kill him, sister? Rebecca. No, not now. He said something about a cure. We have to get rid of it. Alexander has already given up on his life. He wanted to commit suicide and hope for his brotherhood to leave here since they did not get his signal and find a way to get the cure and rid this world of their existence. Freya. I don't think that would be necessary. The cure might not work on us and Viktor has already gotten the map, so you can kill him. Henrik. Henrik. Great, he said as his true vampire face appeared and wanted to go for the kill when Alexander spoke. Alexander. Wait, what do you mean he got the map? The map is divided into 5 parts and I never show anyone my tattoo until tonight, so how did he get it? Freya smiled as she looked at Alexander and said, you were compelled to tell him everything about you and your mission, and you even told him about your plan tonight, which by the way led to their death after we got the map. Alexander's eyes widened when he heard that he was compelled. He has immunity towards compulsion, so how did he get compelled? That's when he knew that he has messed up with the wrong family. Alexander, if you kill me now, you will be haunted with a curse, the hunter's curse. Henrik. I will take my chance. After all, my brother has killed the other 4, which means he knows how to deal with. So say goodbye to your pathetic life for playing with my sister, Henrik said as he used fear inducement to enhance Alexander's fear, which he found amusing, and after having his fun killed him. Freya, now that this is all done, we should get ready to move and find father. We've waited long enough. They all left to join the rest of their family. Viktor. After my questioning of our friend, Alexander, I discovered that the Brotherhood of the 5 were created by dying Bennett Witch, who supposedly gave them a mission to eradicate vampires and find a cure for vampirism, and after tracing the origin of our mysterious witch, I found out that we have more in common. They all looked at him as waiting for him to continue his findings. Viktor decided not to keep his siblings waiting. Spoke. She is a descendant of a certain witch, Iana. Henrik. So even in her death, her descendant still wouldn't leave us alone. Finn. So you mean to say that the cure she talked about when she made father into a true immortal is the ultimate weapon which Alexander spoke of? Viktor nodded as he brought out the map he compiled from the hunters. Viktor, this is the map, and I have to say that there is more to these place, because when I tried to use a divination spell on it I was blocked. I could not get any information on it, Viktor said while thinking of her. She was able to seal someone in an entire island and also created a place for the supernatural. She truly deserves the title of the most powerful witch in the TVD series. While he was in his thought, he heard a ding sound in his head which made him look up and saw the confused faces of his siblings. Chapter 13. The system ding. System initializing. 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%. System installation complete. Viktor has totally forgotten that he was going to receive a system. Well, he didn't ask for one, instead he was given to him by God. Finn. What is this weird box in front of me? Elijah. It says it is a system, but I don't know what it is used for. Viktor saw the confused look on his sibling's face and decided to explain what he knew about systems based on the novels he read back at his old world. Viktor, from what I've seen here, it say that it can show us our stats, our abilities, and guide us on how to make good use of them. He explained what he knew, and also he knew that the system isn't a leveling system but system to view their stats and abilities. Cole. What is a stat anyway? Freya. Just say status screen and you will understand, Freya said after learning about from her system. Cole. Status screen. Ding name. Cole Mikaelson. Title. The Wily Fox. Original vampire. Vampire progenitor. Age. 130. Species. Original heretic vampire plus witch. Skills 5 times learning speed sword fighting. LVL max hunting. LVL max hand-to-hand combat. LVL 90 deception. LVL max blood manipulation. LVL 40 shadow manipulation. LVL 5 illusion casting. LVL 0 new abilities fear inducement magic. As a heretic, the host is able to use magic despite being a vampire. The power to utilize supernatural forces to potentially achieve any effect one desires. Siphoning. The host possess a rare power that allows them to siphon magic from other sources and use that magic for their own purposes. Mind compulsion. The supernatural ability to control and manipulate the body, mind, and soul of an animal or person. Weather control. The supernatural ability to influence meteorological energy patterns, such as creating rain, wind, hail, lightning, snow, sleet, fog, and temperature changes. Animal control. The supernatural ability to control the behavior of any kind of wild or domestic animals. However, a vampire can typically only control one species at a time. Healing factor. The supernatural ability to heal all infections and injuries at an accelerated speed. Immortality. The supernatural ability to possess eternal life and youth. The host is unkillable and not even death can claim the host. Super senses. The supernatural ability to hear, see, smell, and also taste beyond the human limit. Shapeshifting. The supernatural ability to alter and change the physical form of one's self. Super speed. The supernatural ability to jump, move and run at superhuman velocity. Super strength. The supernatural ability to possess abnormal physical strength, which can be used to single-handedly lift even an overweight grown man high off the ground by the throat and hurl him across a long room with enough speed and force to send him through a wall. Super stamina. The ability to indefinitely go on without sustenance, such as food or liquid for a long period of time. Telepathy. The supernatural ability to communicate mentally with other vampires and other supernatural beings without physical contact and over long distances. It also allows one to probe the minds of others. Perks: 5 times increase in strength every 10 years. Cole. Well, that is a lot of information. Most of these things written here are things we don't even know we could do, and I am a willy fox. Victor. You are always the sly fox, brother. If you can hear me, then that means the telepathy ability is working just fine. Even Victor was confused about most of the abilities he saw on the screen, so he decided to try out the telepathy ability. As a tribrid, his stats are slightly different from the rest. Status: name, Viktor Mikaelson. Title, Reincarnator, the strongest Mikaelson, original vampire, vampire progenitor. Age, 131. Species, original tribrid vampire plus werewolf plus witch. Skills: 10 times learning speed sword fighting, LVL max hunting, LVL max hand-to-hand combat, LVL max acting, LVL max blood manipulation, LVL 60 shadow manipulation, LVL 10 illusion casting, LVL 0 new abilities: werewolf transformation, partial werewolf transformation, fear inducement, magic siphoning, mind compulsion, weather control, animal control, healing factor, immortality, super senses, shape shifting, super speed, super strength, super stamina. Telepathy. Perks: 5 times increase in strength every 10 years. Victor looked at his stats and nodded and decided to add more skills to his skill tap later. Freya checked her stats also. Name, Freya Mikaelson. Title, Mikaelson witch, original witch. Age, 142. Species, immortal witch. Skills: 5 times learning speed, magic combat, LVL max abilities, immortality, healing factor, peak human physical condition, magic codex. The host has all knowledge about spells, rituals, runes, potions and curse ever made or will be made. The host can access whatever you need in your mindscape. Perks: 5 times increase in strength every 10 years. After she checked her stats, she felt a surge of information flow into her brain. She felt like she knew every spell, ritual and curses in the world, even ones she have never heard of. She decided to look at what this mindscape thing is about later on. Freya, well, that was unexpected. After a while all the Mikaelsons checked their stats. Niklaus, well, I am an original hybrid, and my title is the wildest Mikaelson. What about you, brother? Victor, original tribrid and the strongest Mikaelson. Everyone was silent when they heard him. Henrik, that's to be expected. You are a witch, vampire and also a werewolf, so technically you are the strongest of us all. Elijah, that makes sense. My title is the noble one. Niklaus, how are you noble? I say this might be scam. Rebecca, it's not a scam, Nick. After all, I'm these family's original sister. Cole, if you do not know, then I will have to tell you. We have an older sister. Finn, I am a devoted acolyte. What does that even mean? Freya, all right, enough with all this titles and whatnots, let's start moving. I now have everything I need to recover father's memories, she said while thinking about the magic codex in her mindscape. Henrik, where to? Dear sister, Freya used a locator spell and discovered where Mikhail is. Freya, he is going to the island where the cure is. Victor, I guess we will be going to Nova Scotia, Victor said while thinking. Since the Brotherhood failed, she decided to use Mikhail to do their job for them. Well, since I will be heading there, I might as well help, but I will still have to imprison Silas until he is born. Silas can't die yet, if not he would not be born. After all, nature created doppelgangers for them to die in their stead. Chapter 14 Nova Scotia. Rebecca, so how are we going to cross this water? Cole, we'll just have to compel the locals to lend us their boats. Henrik, let me do it. They allowed Henrik to do his thing and waited for him when Cole asked Freya a question. Cole, so sister, you are not a vampire, so all our abilities are different, care to tells us yours. Freya. Sigh. Well, I have peak human physical condition. Viktor. So you mean, you have the strength, speed, stamina of a human but at the very peak. Freya. I guess that's it. Viktor. If that is true then, you can go toe-to-toe with vampires of the 3rd generation and within some centuries you might be able to manhandle a vampire of the 2nd generation which I will call First Blood. How is it? Viktor said after hearing what Freya said. She is like the Captain America of this world and she is going to even surpass him in few decades thanks to their perk. Elijah. First Blood, that is a nice name. Niklaus. I agree with Elijah. The vampires we turn will be called First Bloods. The 2nd generation of vampires and the ones they turn afterward will be the 3rd generation and so on. Viktor. So Freya, is that all or you have more? Freya. I also have a magic codex in my head. Cole. What, you have something like that in your head? Freya. Yes, Finn. I'm sorry to intrude, but what is this magic codex you are talking about? Viktor. A magic codex is like a grimoire, but it can be said to be amalgamation of all known spells and unknown spells. Freya. Viktor is right, but it also include runes, potions, rituals, and curses. Cole's eyes glittered when he looked at Freya as if she was a treasure. Cole. You will have to teach me everything in that magic codex after we are done here, okay? Freya. No, I can't teach you everything, but only few spells. Cole. At least it's better than nothing, I'll take it. Freya nodded as she joined the rest of her siblings that were waiting for Henrik to come back. After a while, Henrik came with a smug smile. Henrik. Guess what? Finn. What? Henrik. Sigh, I told you to guess what, not ask what, whatever. I spoke to the locals here and they told me father was just here yesterday after I described him to them. I know I'm good with gathering information, you don't have to praise me. They just smiled at their brother who was just feeling himself when Cole spoke with his own smile. Cole. We were never going to praise you for that, you know. The siblings just laughed and went for the boat Henrik prepared for them. Viktor. If father came here yesterday then he should have gotten to the island by now, so we should increase the speed of the boat and get to him before he gets his hands on the cure. Viktor said while looking at the rest of his siblings, after which they looked at the original witch to do her thing. Freya just sighed and used magic on the boat which increased their traveling speed a lot. A few hours later, they finally arrived street the island. Rebecca. Don't you have some teleportation spells in that magic codex of yours? Freya. I haven't had the time to even check it out, so shush and let's go back to what we were doing. Niklaus. I smell him, he walked that way, come on let's go. Rebecca and Freya stopped their bickering and listened to Niklaus. The siblings moved at the direction Niklaus pointed. Viktor, damn it, I now remembered that I'm also helping the Mystic Falls gangs on this journey. I must make sure to receive my compensation from them. How should I present myself in the initial part? Should I be a villain first or just go to them as a good fellow? Also, now that Niklaus will not have to go to Mystic Falls to break his curse, how am I even going to make him go to Mystic Falls after all? That's where he met Haley. Whatever, I have all the time in the world to think about that. The siblings paused when they felt someone gaze on them. Mikael, so all of you have come just as she said you would. They turned back to face their father, Mikael looking at them with his stern face. Freya was happy to see her father whom she missed for all these years, while Viktor was cursing himself for not seeing these. There is no way in hell Mikael would come to the island to kill someone other than his targets, which is his children. He would not like to be told what to do or be controlled by someone even if their agenda are the same, much less this one. Freya. Father. Mikael frowned when he heard her. He did not know her from anywhere, so who is she to call him father? Mikael. Who are you? If this is one of your tricks to distract me, then you all have failed, so speak before we start our fight. Children. Freya. Do you not recognize me? Can you not see the daughter you thought died years ago? Mikael. You lie, how dare you try to use her against me? Mikael became angry thinking his children were trying to use his love for his daughter to weaken his resolve to hunt them. So he rushed at the supposed imposter to try and finish her off before facing of his children, but before he could get to Henrik vamped speed to his father and pinned him to a tree. Henrik. Father, listen to her. Mikael. Including you, Henrik. What sorceries is this? Trying to use your dead siblings against me. How dare you? How far have you fallen? The siblings ignore their father, which could not break free from Henrik's grasp. Freya wanted to go look for a spell which she could use on Mikael to make him remember what happened, but Viktor spoke. Viktor. I know a spell which could help us, since Henrik saw everything that happened after we left the settlement. Then we could link his memory to father, making him see what happened. That might trigger him to remember everything. Viktor remembered Dahlia using this spell on Niklaus when she showed him event of her past. Freya. Then let's give it a try. Viktor casted the spell which made Henrik and Mikael fall to the ground. The siblings picked them up and placed them in a cave they found nearby. Viktor. Well, we just have to wait for them. While we are waiting, I gonna take a stroll around the island. Viktor said before he went out to find the tomb of Silas. Chapter 15. You are here, Nova Scotia. Viktor. I told you all that I want to take a walk alone, so why are you following me? Niklaus and Elijah. Niklaus. Well, you know I don't want to be there when father wakes up and we need a brother bonding time alone, but I don't know about Elijah. Elijah. I wanted to take a breather also, so I decided to join you on your walk. Viktor. Sigh. I guess I'll just let it slide, but next time, I will break both your necks. The trio continued their walk through the island when Viktor paused, turned his head towards a cave. Viktor. There is something there. Be careful, we don't know what's with this island. Niklaus and Elijah both nodded and followed their brother into the cave. The cave was dark, but for them it was nothing. They strolled through the cave looking around them. Viktor. I guess this where the cure is, so there must be some kind of trap or something to prevent anyone from getting to it with an intent to destroy it. Niklaus. I don't understand how something that can cure vampirism even exists before the creation of the vampires themselves. Elijah. Maybe a person foresaw it and decided to prevent it from happening but knew they would fail, so they made the cure. Viktor. I'm not sure that's what happened, but I am not sure what really happened either, but I'm 100% sure that's not what happened. Elijah. How can you be so sure, brother? Viktor. Call it an intuition. Elijah didn't buy it, but he just let it go. They continued searching the cave until they came upon a tomb. Niklaus. Well, will you look at that? Back to the rest of the Mikaelsons all gathered around Henrik and Mikael. Cole. Sigh. How long is it going to take for them to wake up? Freya. It won't be long according to what Viktor said before he left, so have a little patience. Cole. I am patient, but it's taking too damn long. Finn. Will you keep it down? It's not like you are the only one here. We too are here waiting for them and none of us is complaining. Rebecca. I think they are waking up, Rebecca said as she saw Henrik's hands move. Henrik. Well, that was a nice experience, showing someone your memory from a third-person perspective. Freya. How are you feeling? Is there any discomfort anywhere? Henrik. I'm fine, sister. Just a slight headache. Freya nodded and turned to her father, who has a mixed expression on his face from anger, sadness and happiness, knowing that two of his children whom he thought died were very much alive. He got up and looked at his children before saying, Mikael, I'm sorry for what happened throughout the century. Freya. I'm sorry for trying to attack you. Viktor. Niklaus and Elijah. Where are they? Rebecca. They went out for a walk in the island. Mikael frowned when he heard that. Then he remembered how he was led here by an unknown woman spoke to him. Mikael. We need to leave this island right now. Freya, hearing her father, started to get ready to protect her family, never intending for what happened to repeat itself again. Freya. What is the matter, father? Mikael. During my pursuit of your decoys, I heard a witch voice in my head, telling me about what you did and that the only way to truly rid you from this world is through the cure. At first I thought it was Iana, but later she said she was not Iana but someone else. I refused her proposal at first, not wanting to play her games now that I know of your whereabouts from her, but she said you all will be here, so I came here after she told me what she wants in exchange of helping me. Finn. What does she want you to help her with? Mikael looked at his children as he turned to the direction Viktor, Niklaus and Elijah went. Mikael. She told me to force feed the cure to someone, then kill the person. Henrik. Did she tell you who the person is and how is she hoping for you to win against us if the cure was to be used on some other person? Freya. I guess there is some other way for the cure to take effect once ingested by someone else. Mikael. That can be discussed later, but now we have to get to Niklaus. Viktor and Elijah, and get off this island. I don't know her full strength, but if she can communicate with me from God knows where, then she might be very powerful, even more than your mother and Iona put together. Cole. I guess you have to look into that magic codex of yours after we make it through, sister. Freya nodded her head and everyone followed the trails of Niklaus, Viktor and Elijah. Back to the trio. Elijah. This place is used to bury someone. The three went closer and saw the corpse of a man with a mask on, holding a box clutched tightly in his hands. Viktor. I'm guessing that's the cure we are all looking for. Niklaus. Should we just grab it and leave, because I'm having a bad feeling about this? Viktor looked at the desiccated Silas and knew that he is aware of their presence, but since he did not have any of their blood, he could not use his psychic abilities on them, and in order to take the cure from him, then they will have to feed him blood because the bastard won't let them take the cure away. Viktor didn't even need the cure, he just want to make sure Silas is alive until Stefan is born, and since everyone now know about the cure, he didn't want to take any chances, and so he have to destroy the cure. Since she made it in the first time, then she can make it again. Also Freya has a magic codex in her head, so goodbye cure. Viktor. I will have to burn everything here then. They moved back for Viktor to do his thing when everything turned white and he felt a change of his surroundings. He found himself alone when he saw a woman walking to him. She appears to be a young and extremely beautiful woman in her 20s. She had long dark, curly hair similar in color to that of Bonnie in the TVD series. Viktor looked at the woman walking towards him and could not help but smiled. She is more beautiful than her counterpart in the series, he thought. What do you think you are about to do, Viktor? You are here. Chapter 16. Ketsia. Viktor. You are here. Confusion flashed in her eyes as the man before her seems as if he knows her, but that was not why she was here. I'll ask again, what were you planning on doing back there? Viktor. Oh, that. I was just about to set it ablaze before you brought me here. I have to say you were really powerful to be able to bring me here without me even being able to detect it. Viktor said while wondering how she was able to pull that feat. He knows she is powerful, but not to this extent. She literally pull him into another space when she is just a spirit. Then what if she came back to life? Viktor. Sigh. Is nature trying to find a balance due to our existence? It won't be a surprise if werewolves started having an extra abilities from their TV counterparts. Who do you think you are to ruin my plan for over a millennium? Viktor Mikaelson. Viktor. So you know my name, but I do not even know the initials of your name. Now is that not rude? Viktor said with a smile on his face while messing with her. I'm Ketsia, the one who made the cure that you were about to destroy, and also the former lover of the man in the tomb. Viktor forged surprised when he heard her and asked. Viktor. I'm assuming since you are the ex-lover of the dead man in the tomb, then you were the one who killed him and placed him there, right? But what I don't understand is why is the cure with a dead man? Ketsia simply smiled at his words. Ketsia. Who told you that he is dead? The bastard is very much alive and he is just starved. For you to understand what is happening, then I will have to tell you the full story. She waved a hand creating an illusion showing Viktor a scene he knew all too well. Ketsia. This is the beginning of everything. That man is named Silas, whom I thought loved me dearly, but all that was a lie. A facade to make me create an immortality spell which would have made us immortal beings, but... The scene progressed as she was narrating what transpired to Viktor, which led them to the scene where Ketsia and Silas were to be wedded. He saw her create a big garden just for marriage and how she waited for the love of her life to come to her but didn't. Instead, she saw the garden she created wither, making her know that Silas was using the immortality spell. Devastated, she left in search of Silas, and what she saw when she got there left her felt betrayed by the ones whom she trusted. Ketsia. Silas did not love me, but he loved my handmaiden, Amara. So out of anger I separated the two lovers. The scene changed to when Ketsia went to Silas and told him about the death of Amara and how he should take the cure and leave the rest of his mortal life with, but he refused and tried to attack her to take his revenge for his lover, which ended in his defeat. Ketsia. I sealed him in this island and placed the cure with him so that he could take it and die, then join me in the other side. Viktor. What is this other side you speak of? And if you killed Amara like you said, then did that not mean if Silas really took the cure and die, he will be reunited with Amara? And also one last question, why did Amara and Tatia have the same face? Ketsia smiled at his question, which she answered. Ketsia. I didn't kill Amara. I used her as an anchor and created the other side. A purgatory for the supernatural beings. And for your last question, nature tried to find a loophole for Amara and Silas to die as they became immortal, so it created a doppelganger to die in their stead. Viktor, still acting shocked, spoke. Viktor, so you created a whole dimension just to separate two lovers from ever meeting again? Woman warned me not to ever get on your bad side. Ketsia laughed at Viktor's joke and continued. Ketsia, so now would you help me with my 1,000-year revenge by killing Silas? Viktor, no, I'm afraid I have uses for him. A frown appeared on Ketsia's face when she heard his words. Ketsia, and what might that be? Viktor, you see, I have a divination about a doppelganger of his and I would like for him to be born, after which I will personally send him to you. How about that? Do we have a deal? Ketsia, what do you want with the doppelganger to let him be born so badly that you wish to save Silas for him? Viktor, a trustworthy ally and follower. Ketsia, I can be your ally. How about that? Viktor, you are dead, so you can't help me in any way. Ketsia, you can use a resurrection spell to bring me back, so kill Silas and you have yourself a formidable ally. Viktor thought about her offer, but he can't bring himself to deny Stefan's existence. He liked his character in the series and want him to be one of the few followers he will amass later on in his journey, so he will have to give Ketsia another offer. Viktor, sigh, I'm sorry but I can't take your offer. How about this? I will torture Silas till I get what I want by denying him the right of meeting his true love in an illusion. Is that okay with you, Ketsia? Why didn't I take of that? Sigh, you got yourself a deal, but you will have to resurrect me since I can't appear to with like this once you leave the island, and I also know you will block me out of your head when I will try to communicate with you. So you must resurrect me once you leave the island. If you agree, then you have yourself a deal. Chapter 17 Resurrection. Viktor and Ketsia agreed on what to do with Silas, but she still wanted a fail-safe in case Viktor thinks of betraying her. Viktor, I can see you do not trust me completely. Ketsia, oh please, I have trust issues. I'm controlling, paranoid and a little crazy, and that's working out just fine. If it was your brother, Elijah, I might have given him the benefit of doubt, but not without a failsafe. Viktor, so how do you intend to seal our deal? Crazy witch. Ketsia, I will place a mark on you which will inflict pain on you if ever you have any idea on going back on the deal. Viktor nodded as she placed a mark on him. Viktor, if you have been watching me over the years, then you would know that I can siphon magic. Right, Ketsia? Oh, that wouldn't work as I linked it to the other side, and the other side is linked to Amara, which means you won't be able to siphon all the magic on that mark. Viktor, what did you just say? Ketsia just smiled at him and laughed on how confident he was when she suggested placing the mark on him. Viktor, you crazy witch, I will make sure to get back at you when I bring you back to life. Mark my word. Now send me back. Ketsia. Ha 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 ha, I will like to see you try, Ketsia said as she released the spell and also asked him a question. Ketsia, when will you bring me back? Which made Viktor smiled. Viktor, see you in a century. Before Ketsia could say anything, Viktor already disappeared from her vision. Ketsia, don't you dare. Back at the cave, Viktor could be seen on the floor surrounded by his family. After a while he opened his eyes and met the worried gazes of his siblings and father. Mikhail, how are you feeling, boy? Viktor, I'm fine, and stop calling me boy. I'm old enough to be called a grandpa. This made the Mikaelsons smile. Cole, welcome back, brother. I see you haven't lost your touch. Niklaus. How could he? If it were so, I will feel embarrassed to have the same face as him. They all laughed as they helped Viktor up. When Freya asked what happened. Viktor, well, I don't know what really, but when I was about to set the tomb and the cure on fire, I saw a vision about the origin of the cure and the corpse holding it. Elijah. What is their origin, brother? Viktor. I told you it wasn't what you thought. Right, actually the man buried in the tomb is not dead, but actually the first immortal to walk the earth. Niklaus. If he is the first immortal, then why is he buried here, and who would be so powerful to place him here? After all, if he is an immortal as you said, then he will be like us. Viktor. That's where you are wrong, brother. He isn't like us. He is not a vampire but a perfect immortal with a powerful psychic ability, but he was a new immortal when he was imprisoned here. Henrik. Who could imprison someone like him? Viktor. The same person who created the means for him to become immortal. A crazy, paranoid and jealous witch, Viktor said while thinking of Ketsia as he was holding the hands which the mark was placed. Viktor, I will have to tell you, brothers, never make a woman angry or play with her love. They could go crazy. Freya. Hey, are you forgetting that you have two sisters who are also listening to you? Viktor. Oops, busted. They all laughed at that and decided to leave the cave, but Viktor told them to go, saying he has something to do first, but Niklaus wanted to stay with him, but Viktor broke his neck and looked around waiting for the next target. The Mikaelsons decided to leave him alone, and Elijah took Klaus's body and left Viktor alone. Viktor, well, this isn't personal, Silas, so blame it on her. Viktor said as he touched Silas' head and casted the illusion spell, which he modified to affect the mind. Viktor, Phantomographia Decorum. After he was done, he took Silas' body and put him inside his shadow using his shadow manipulation and also the headstone which contains Ketsia's blood for her resurrection. After that, he went out to meet the rest of the Mikaelsons. Viktor, let's go, an adventure awaits us. Rebecca. What kind of adventure? They left the island and decided on where to go from here. That's how days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months, months turn to years, years turn to decades, and decades turn to a century. A lot happened through the years as Viktor gathered everything needed for Ketsia's resurrection, Freya teaching Cole and Viktor spells, potion making, rune magic and rituals from the magic codex, which they absorbed like sponge due to their enhanced learning. Also Viktor created a spell based on Monato's flying thunder technique for easy movement. Viktor could be seen in the middle of a forest standing in the middle of a circle of salt. He placed Silas' headstone which had a drop of blood of Ketsia, since he could not get her ashes, then her blood will suffice, soil for her body and water for her blood. He began chanting the spell for the ritual he is performing. Viktor, Fion en che en kanu. 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 As he was performing the spell, the veil to the other side weakened, releasing spirits of the deceased supernatural to the world, but Viktor knew that it will happen that way, so he made a backup to lock the spirits in a confined space to be sent back after he was done. He didn't want some lunatics causing havoc. After a while, the soil and the water merged and started constructing a body which began to resemble the body of Ketsia, and after the body became whole and Ketsia's spirit returned back to her body, Viktor released the spell, sending back the spirits to the other side. Ketsia was naked when she was resurrected, which Viktor savored as a payback for what she did to him. Ketsia opened her eyes and saw a man looking at her with a smile whom she recognized as Viktor, which brought her to the realization that she has been brought back to the land of the living and currently she was naked. Ketsia. Why am I naked? Viktor. Ha 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 ha. Here, take it. I prepared it for you, and after you are done, come remove the mark you place on me, Viktor said as he handed her a dress he prepared for her. After she was done, she came to his side and removed the mark that she placed on him. Ketsia, I'm guessing you also made me immortal when resurrecting me, and my magic is still intact. How did you do that? Viktor. Well, a couple of tweaks here and there in Viola. Here you are, Ketsia. Sigh. Forget it if you are not going to tell me. So what now, Viktor? Well, time to introduce you to my family. Chapter 18. Mikaelsons meeting. Ketsia. Mikaelson's compound. Elijah and Niklaus could be seen having a little fencing match while Freya and Cole were writing something on a piece of paper. Cole. Why can't I seem to get this right, even with my enhanced learning speed? Freya. Don't be hasty, Cole. If you must remember, it took Viktor a decade to create this spell and we just started learning it a month ago, so let's not rush it. Freya and Cole were trying to learn the Flying Thunder God technique spell. It took Viktor a decade to master the spell because of the difference of energy. In Naruto world, they used chakra, but here they use magical power, so he had to derive a new method to use the technique as a spell before he became successful. Cole, seeing his new spell, begged him to teach him with Freya, so he agreed after much persuasion. Sometime later, Viktor and an unknown woman could be seen coming inside the yard, making Niklaus and Elijah stop their fencing challenge. Viktor. Where is everyone? Freya. They went out for a walk. Who is she? Viktor. Oh, she is the crazy witch I was talking about when we were at the island 100 years ago. Remember? Ketsia. My name is Ketsia. It is nice to finally meet you. Niklaus. I'm Niklaus Mikaelson. He is Elijah, Freya and Cole. The rest of my siblings are out with my father, and it's also nice to meet you. Elijah. Not to sound rude or anything, but how are you still alive if you are who Viktor says you are? Ketsia looked at Viktor with a smile on her face when she thought of something. Ketsia. What can I say? Your brother here took a fancy to my humble self and decided to resurrect me. This caught the attention of all the Mikaelsons present, making Cole used telekinesis to bring chairs for them to sit. Cole. Of all my years, I have never seen my brother have any form of affection for any girl, making me take if he was interested. Before Cole could finish his statement, Viktor silenced him by covering his mouth. Viktor, don't you dare even think of completing that statement. Ketsia. Ha 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 ha. That would have been true if he did not meet me. Freya. How did you two even meet if you were dead as you said? Ketsia recounted what happened from her time with Silas to her meeting Viktor to resurrecting her, while omitting some things like her deal with Viktor. Ketsia. So that's all to it. Cole. You created a whole purgatory for supernatural being just by yourself. How powerful were you to be able to do that? Ketsia. Well, you can say I'm just too damn talented. Cole. Forget it, I've just got myself another magic teacher. Freya sighed at Cole. He loved magic so much that he wants to learn everything related to magic. Freya. Have you forgotten that we have not learnt the teleportation spell we are currently learning, right? Elijah. So are going to stay with us Mikaelsons or live on your own? Ketsia. I guess I will be tagging along. Why do you say? Elijah didn't like the idea of an outsider joining them, but he couldn't tell her to leave, so he just nodded and walked away. Viktor. Give him some time, he will come around. Ketsia. I know, even I wouldn't trust me on the first time. Freya. Just so you know, if you ever have any thought of harming my brother or any of my family, what you did to Silas will be little compared to what I will do to you. Ketsia. Yes ma'am, I will never have any ill intention towards your family. Freya. Good, then welcome to the family. Ketsia. Thank you. Cole and Freya went back to what they were doing while Viktor and Ketsia went out, leaving Niklaus all by himself. Viktor. I have to say I'm impressed by the stunt you pulled back there. Ketsia. I know you don't want to tell anyone about Silas being alive and all that, so I had to say that. Viktor. Should I thank you for that? Ketsia ignored him and went to the room Viktor prepared for her. Viktor. Sigh, I should start getting ready. Catherine from the TVD series will come to England in 1492 and I might have turned her myself, or if Elijah have feelings for her, then he might turn her. I should start making preparation for the future. Let me see, Lexi, Stefan and Damon, they will make good first bloods, and Catherine, if Elijah don't have feelings for her. Okay, who else? Malachi Parker. Damn it, I've forgotten most of the characters in the series. Well, I still have a lot of time in my hands, Viktor said as he decided to check his stats after 100 years. Status * name. Viktor Mikaelson. Title. Reincarnator, the strongest Mikaelson, original vampire, vampire progenitor. Age. 231 species. Original tribrid vampire plus werewolf plus witch. Skills 10 times learning speed sword fighting. LVL max hunting. LVL max hand-to-hand combat. LVL max acting. LVL max blood manipulation. LVL 90 shadow manipulation. LVL 50 illusion casting. LVL max flying thunder god. LVL max abilities werewolf transformation, partial werewolf transformation, fear inducement, magic siphoning, mind compulsion, weather control, animal control, healing factor, immortality, super senses, shape shifting, super speed, super strength, super stamina, telepathy, telekinesis. The host can move objects with their minds, choke people without their hands, and even lift people. The host can even go a step further to pull or push objects away, and some like throwing their blades towards enemies and then calling them back. Dream manipulation. The host can mentally create and control dreams of both humans and weaker vampires. It is easier to get into a vampire's head if they don't drink human blood or convince humans to become a vampire. Perks: 5 times increase in strength every 10 years. Viktor. Blood and shadow manipulation are really hard skills to master quickly, but I have all the time in the world. Ketsia. What are you planning, or should I say plotting? Viktor wasn't surprised by her presence as he has already sensed her coming. Viktor. Is it that obvious? Ketsia. Of course, with the way you kept your face, anybody who did not know is a fool. Viktor turned to her with a grin. Viktor. I guess you have been busy spying on me these past 100 years to know me this well. Ketsia had a hint of red shade when she heard him but quickly recovered. Ketsia. Humph, I have better things to do than watch you throughout the years. They both smiled and looked up to see the stars in the sky when Ketsia remembered something. Ketsia. I have a message from your mother. Viktor, Chapter 19 Esther and Ketsia the Other Side, before the resurrection of Ketsia. Sigh, he really meant it when he said that. What a bastard. Ketsia was angry at Viktor for truly going by his words, keeping her here for 100 years. Ketsia. Well, I've been here for 1,000 years, what's another 100 years? I just have to endure it for now and make him pay later. Thinking about someone there, Ketsia was a little surprised by the sudden voice of someone. Ketsia had lived in the other side in isolation. She didn't even pay her descendants a visit when they arrived, as she didn't see the need to, but someone had taken notice of her presence here. She turned to take a look at the woman, which made raised her eyebrows when she saw who the woman was. She saw a tall, slim and beautiful woman in her mid to late 40s, somewhere between 45 to 49. She has long natural blonde hair and brown eyes. She had fine facial features, which testified to her Scandinavian origins. She wore a long, flowing dress that complements her pale skin. She is Esther Mikaelson, the mother of the original immortals. Ketsia, what are you doing here? Esther Mikaelson. Esther, you seem to know me, miss. Ketsia, and of course I know you. You were the one who used my spell to grant your children immortality. Surprise flashed in Esther's eyes when she heard the word of Ketsia. Esther, you are the ancestor of Iana. Ketsia nodded and turned around to walk away from here when Esther followed her. Ketsia, why are you following me? You know I left there because of you, right? Esther. I know, but I need your help. Can you please tell me a way to cure my children? Ketsia looked at her and wondered what was wrong with her. Ketsia, as you know, your son has destroyed the cure for immortality if you are paying attention to your children. Esther saw when Viktor put the tomb of Silas in his shadow, so she assumed that was him destroying the cure. What she didn't know was that he simply put away Silas's tomb for safekeeping. Esther. I know, that's why I am asking you. Since you were the one who created it, then you should be able to create it once again, right? Ketsia. Sigh, woman, if you haven't noticed, then let me tell you, we are dead and we can't affect the living, and also from what I have seen, your children haven't done anything that should warrant you to look for a way to rid their existence, so why? Esther was silent for a moment, then continued. Esther. They haven't done anything, but what of the people they killed unaware to satiate their hunger, the people they turned to monster like them? They go against the very law of nature, and I am the cause of that. To protect my family I created monsters. Ketsia. Sigh, nature has a way to even the fields, so I suggest you let nature take its course and live your life in peace and stop thinking about your children being monsters. Instead view them as the children you gave birth to. The children you watch grow up and put a smile on your face. Then you might come to love them as you did before. Esther listened to what Ketsia said and decided to reflect on it, so she left her alone. That was how Esther and Ketsia become friends, with Esther always bothering Ketsia's daily life, making the latter curse Viktor for making her wait for 100 years, despite that she has come to enjoy the company of Esther. On the day Viktor performed the resurrection spell, Esther and Ketsia could be seen laying on a bare ground watching the stars in the sky. Esther, you know, I used to watch the stars with my children on a night like this and tell them bedtime stories. We made happy memories on nights like this. Sigh, how I wish to go back and stop myself from ever trying to hurt my children and also giving up on my daughter, Freya. After the talk with Ketsia, Esther learned the error of her ways and came to love her children for who they were. Ketsia, you know you could communicate with them and tell them how much you regret your actions. Esther. No, I can't talk to them like that. I have to ask for their forgiveness face to face. That's the best way. Ketsia. But you can't talk to them, you are already dead. Esther. I know, and let it be that way. Let them hate me. After what I did, I don't deserve their forgiveness. Ketsia, seeing the only friend she made in the other side, sighed and asked her a question. Ketsia, what do you want to say to your children if you ever have the chance to speak to them once again? Esther told Ketsia what she would say if she has another chance with her family once again, when the veil preventing the other side from interfering with the land of the living weakened. Ketsia knew her time has come. Leave the other side. Ketsia, I will make sure to pass your word to your family, my friend, and I hope to see you once again. Until then, goodbye, Ketsia said as she started to fade, leaving Esther confused and lost for words to say to her friend. Back to the present, the Mikaelsons all gathered together and listened to what Ketsia had to say. Mikael, what did she say? Ketsia. She said, and I quote, Mikael, I'm sorry for not telling you about Freya. I was afraid of what you might do once you find out what happened to her, and I'm sorry for lying to you about Viktor and Niklaus' birth. I know it would be hard for you to let go of your anger, but please don't take it out on them. Freya, forgive me for not fighting back my sister when she came for you. I was terrified when she threatened to also take little Finn and the unborn Elijah. I had no choice but to give you up. I'm sorry for being powerless as your mother and failing to be your mother. To the rest of my children, I'm sorry making you the way you are and also trying to get rid of you, especially both of you, Viktor and Niklaus, for hiding the truth about your true heritage and giving you enchanted necklace to make you too weak and have no will to fight when your father hurt you for lacking in some areas. Niklaus, you all must know one thing. I will always love you, always and forever. Freya held onto a crying Rebecca while holding herself from also crying. Mikael walked to a corner of the room and sat there. The boys were silent, not knowing what to do when Rebecca spoke. Rebecca, Viktor, you resurrected her, right? Which means you can also do the same to Mother, right? Tell me you can. Brother, Viktor. I can, but. Rebecca. No buts, please just say you can do it and you will do it. Please just say that. Freya. We can resurrect her and we do it, but we will need some ingredients and her body remains to resurrect her. Rebecca. Then we will just go back to the new world. Cole. Yes, but we have been traveling for years now, so it's going to take some time. Sister. Cole consoled his little sister while petting her head. She is the baby of the family despite Henrik's presence. Viktor. I promise you, sister, I will bring Mother back. Chapter 20, England 1492. England 1492. The Mikaelsons journeyed to England on behest of Viktor, saying that they had stayed in their previous location for far too long. They came to England and compelled everyone to think there were nobles of the land. For the past centuries, Viktor has learnt a lot of things like magic combat from Freya to a myriad of life professions and different subjects he could get his hands. He has decided to go to Mystic Falls as a teacher at the school when TVD Canon kicks off. Viktor, Katarina will be coming to England this year. Let's see how things will be, since Niklaus won't need her to break any curse, then things are going to change a little. Ketsia. Plotting something again. Viktor. Don't you have anything to do? Stop sticking to me 24/7. Ketsia. As if you don't enjoy my company. Well, I'm here to get you. It seems Niklaus is intending to throw a birthday party, so Elijah asked me to get you. Viktor. Oh, it seems Katarina is going to appear soon. Viktor. I don't even remember my own birthday. It is quite funny, don't you think? So when is this birthday party? Ketsia. He said something about next week, and I don't think you have celebrated any birthday party these past centuries, so I don't know why he wants one now. Viktor. Well, I better get going. I have a birthday to prepare for. Viktor walked out of his room and went out to meet with Niklaus and Elijah. A week later. Elijah. Welcome everyone to this wonderful occasion. We the Mikaelsons will like to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to attend my sibling's birthday party. Thank you, and also enjoy your evening. After Elijah finished his welcoming speech, he went down from the stand and joined the party and personally greeting the guests. Cole. Don't you think Elijah is taking this noble stuff pretty personal? Finn. He is just living the life we wanted here. Didn't you hear the saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do? Henrik. Isn't that Viktor's word? Rebecca. Yes, recently brother has become poetic. I remembered when he said, you know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better than your dreams. That was so epic that all the noble ladies wanted to get in his bed if not for Ketsia. What they didn't know was all the poetic quotes said by Viktor was from his previous life. Viktor. Is that the only thing you could get from my quotes? Rebecca. Rebecca. Oh, brother, when did you arrive and where is Nick? Viktor. You know Nick, he always wants to make a dramatic entrance. Finn. Typical Nick. So where is Father? Freya. Freya. You know father, he does not like all this noble parties, it makes him sick as they are all pretenders and wolves in sheepskins. Rebecca. I think that's enough. Freya. As you can see, Elijah is also a nobleman. In fact, we all are pretending to be nobles, so that seems a little offensive. Freya. As you said, pretending to be nobles, we aren't actual nobles, and that's father's word, not mine. Ketsia. Would you look at that? They all turned to look at Ketsia, who had been silent the whole time. Viktor. You have been silent all this while, what would attract your attention? Ketsia simply pointed at the direction of Elijah. which the Mikaelsons turned to, and what they saw surprised them except from Viktor and Freya, who had no idea what is going on. Freya. Who is she, that made you all surprised? Cole. She looks like Tadia, Elijah's first love. Freya. What, how is this even possible? If she is Tadia, then how is she alive? Henrik. He didn't say she is Tadia but looked like Tadia. The Tadia we all know is dead, Henrik said as he looked at Viktor. He knew Viktor killed Tadia and triggered his werewolf curse. Rebecca. Then how do you explain this? Because of all our years walking this earth, we have never come across a lookalike. Ketsia. Sigh. She is a doppelganger, even that Tadia was one. Remember when I said that I created the immortality spell for the love of my life, but he betrayed me with another woman? Well, that woman is Amara. She is the first person to have that face. Cole. But that doesn't explain this. Why are they having the same face? Viktor. When Silas and Amara took the immortality spell, they went against the very rule of nature, and nature tried to find way for them to die. Ketsia. So it created doppelganger, copies of the originals, to die in their stead. Viktor and Ketsia explained to them. Finn. Then why are there no copies of us popping out? Viktor. That's because we died before becoming immortals. Freya. What about me? I didn't die. Ketsia. I guess you are all different. Viktor looked at Katerina and Elijah, watching the latter if he has any feelings towards her. Viktor. It seems that he is just curious as to why she bears the same face as his past lover. That means she will be the first member of Team Viktor. I wonder if I can give her the werewolf bite. After all, it's been centuries and my abilities have experienced so many increase, so I should be able to bypass nature's will. You can give her the bite, but let me warn you, the moment you do that, then the werewolves of this world will receive a massive upgrade, gaining abilities from their book counterparts and some abilities from Teen Wolf, as you have most of the characteristics of the wolves of that world. Also, your betas will be alphas, but they can't turn someone else into wolves. Viktor. Can't you speak a little low? My head feels like busting with your voice, but I will have to thank you for the information. But for the love of you, please stop doing that. You can use the system to communicate with me. Ketsia. Are you all right? You have been staring at her all this time. Is it perhaps you've taken a liking to her? Ketsia said when she saw him staring at Amara's doppelganger while thinking if history is repeating itself. Over the years, she has taken a liking to Viktor, but she did not know if he will reciprocate her feelings for him, and she did not want to have another failed love story. Viktor. Is that a hint of jealousy I sense in your tone? The great Ketsia is actually jealous. Don't worry, I have no feelings for her, as my dead heart belongs to another. There was hope in Ketsia's eyes but died when she heard him said his heart belongs to another. Viktor saw the down look on her face. He went to her and held her shoulder and looked her in the eyes and said, Viktor. Ketsia, don't be down. When I said my heart belongs to another, I meant you. I don't know when this feeling started manifesting, but when I look at you, I saw that you were perfect, and so I loved you. Then I saw that you were not perfect, and I loved you even more. You are my heart, my life, my one and only thought. I love you, Ketsia, and I want all of you, forever, you and me, every day. Tears could be seen flowing out of Ketsia's heart at the sudden love confession, and was momentarily shocked, but she quickly overcame it as she kissed him. Ketsia, I love you too, you slow-witted bastard. Everyone in the party clapped for them and was happy for the two new couples. Rebecca. Brother has raised my standards. If no man can beat Viktor's love confession, then I will have to remain single forever. Henrik. As if. Lover girl. Niklaus. Elijah and Katerina. Niklaus. You see that, Katrina? That's my brother we were talking about. Isn't he natural with his words? Katerina. He is, my lord. Chapter 21. Katerina meets Viktor. Niklaus. Brother, I am happy that you have finally found the woman whom you will share your heart with, and Ketsia, you have my congratulations. Ketsia. Thank you. Elijah. Brother, congrats. May you find happiness. Viktor. Thank you, brother, but aren't you going to introduce us to our new friend there? Viktor said as he looked to the direction of Katerina. Elijah. She is Lady Katerina from Bulgaria. She was invited by Trevor here to the party. Viktor. Remarkable, you bore an uncanny resemblance to someone we used to know. Katerina. Itaka. Kaki prestoyat vv Angliaso. How is your stay in England? Viktor finished the last sentence in her native language. Katerina. Nikoga ne sum zinale, che shte govorish tolkova dobre bulgarski. Milord I as namurame prestoya miv Anglia za prekrasen, sushto pozdravlenia za tova. Che spekelik lubovta na zivota si. I never knew you would also be this fluent in Bulgarian, my lord, and I find my stay in England wonderful, also congratulations for having won the love of your life. Viktor. I'm happy that you are enjoying yourself. If you need anything, just know our door is always open for you, Lady Katerina. Katerina. Thank you, my lord, for your generous offer. Ketsia. Now if you will excuse us, we will like to greet the other guests. Ketsia and Viktor left the group. Elijah. Do you have a place to stay in England? If not, as my brother said, our door is always open for you. Katerina. I'm still looking for a place, my lord. Niklaus. Then why don't you stay with us for a while before you can get your own place? What do you think? Katerina. Then I will have to thank you, my lord. Elijah. I will tell the maids to prepare a room for you. With that, Elijah and Niklaus left Katerina, who began to mingle in the crowd. Niklaus. Do you perhaps have any feelings for her, brother? Elijah. I'm just merely curious, that's all. Henrik. Then you should have come to us, we could satiate your curiosity. The rest of the siblings came to join their brothers. Elijah. What do you mean, Cole? You see, Cole and Henrik explained how Tadia and Katerina were doppelganger of the original, which is Amara, and how they came about. Niklaus. So Ketsia was that badass. Damn, brother won himself a crazy and powerful witch. Finn. Yeah, I agree on that one. Rebecca. Well, I am tired of this party, why not end it here and call it a night? Elijah. Elijah. Nonsense, the fun is only beginning. Trevor. Go get the performers. Trevor. Yes, Lord Elijah. The party stretched through the night, and came to an end in the early hours of the next day. Viktor's room. Ketsia. So what are your plans after now, seeing that we have spent quite a number of years here? Viktor. Well, I don't have any plan as of yet, but what I do know is that we might be spending more time in England. Ketsia. You are still planning something, I just don't get it yet, but everything you do for a reason, so we staying here is for a reason, am I right? Viktor. You know me well, but I can't tell you now. Viktor couldn't tell her about himself being a reincarnator. That's an unspeakable rule of a reincarnator and transmigrators alike. He can't tell her he knows the future and that he has also changed some of the events that was supposed to happen. Ketsia. See that face you are making? That's what gives out that you are cooking up something, but I won't force you to tell me anything, just know that I will always support you no matter what. Viktor. Thank you for understanding. Ketsia. No problem. Ketsia kissed him as she got up from the bed and went to wash herself up and prepare for a brand new day. Viktor was still at the bed thinking about the events which he has changed and will also change. Viktor. Ketsia won't have to die anymore since she has me. The Mystic Fall gangs won't go to Nova Scotia to look for the cure. Katerina will not be on the run anymore, so she won't be an antagonist of the TVD series. As for Lexi, I don't even know where she was born, but I can look for her around 1679 to 1680 when she was turned, so that's out of the way. I won't be going to New Orleans, as I will go to Mystic Falls for Stefan and Damon in the year 1846, the year Stefan was born. I will train him from a young age myself, including Damon. So that leaves me with Malachi Parker, which will be the first heretic in Team Viktor. I should also take Cole with me so that he can take Valerie and the other Sipheners as his first bloods. Niklaus can make his hybrid army. Well, that's it for now, but should I also turn Elena or not? Sigh. I guess I will think about it later on. Ketsia. Sigh. And you are always wondering why I always think you are plotting something. Viktor. Sorry, I was just planning for the future. Ketsia. Whatever. Just go get ready and let's meet up with the rest of your family in the living room. Viktor. Okay. I will be right back in a second. Viktor went to the bathroom and took a quick shower and came out before dressing in his noble outfit. Viktor. Let's go, love. Viktor stretched his hands towards Ketsia, who took it with a smile on her face. The living room. The Mikaelsons could be seen sitting around a table with Katerina. Cole. Well, look who finally showed up, the new couples of the Mikaelsons. Rebecca. Wow. They look so adorable together. When will I meet my better half? Henrik. With Nick and Vic around, I doubt you will meet him anytime soon. Niklaus. Henrik. We are just protecting our little sister. You know Rebecca has poor judgment when it comes to choosing the right man for herself. Rebecca. I don't need your protection, I can do that myself. Viktor. We don't doubt you being able to protect yourself. It is your fragile heart we are trying to protect, sister. Rebecca. Not you too, Viktor. They all laughed as they sat down and began to eat what was prepared for them for the sake of Freya and the new guest with them. Viktor. So Katerina, what do you want to do now that you will be staying here in England? Chapter 22 Family Breakfast. Viktor. So Katerina, what do you want to do now that you will be staying here in England? Katerina. I don't know for now, but I am working towards it, my lord. Viktor. You should probably meet Freya, Rebecca and Ketsia to show you around the duchy, so that you can get used to your new environment. Rebecca. Why do I have to be among her babysitters? I have other things to do, you know, brother. Mikael. What other things than to gossip with those spoiled noble children? Rebecca. The siblings turned to see their father standing at the door of their residence. Niklaus. Hello father, where were you off to yesterday? I didn't see you at my birthday party. Mikael. Boy, aren't you a little too old to still be celebrating birthdays, and if I'm correct, yesterday wasn't even your birthday. Niklaus. What do you mean I'm old? One can never be too old to celebrate their birthdays. Don't worry, one of these days I might have to throw you one, and before I forget, stop calling me boy, I hate it. Mikael. I don't need you to throw me a party, boy. Before Niklaus could retort, Freya stepped and prevented a clash between them. They have been like this since the time Mikael joined them, and only Freya and Finn can make them docile for a while. Viktor on the other hand just keep quiet, knowing both Mikael and Niklaus well, as both of them are the same kind of people who will never back down from a fight once it's started, even if it is a little squabble. Freya. Father, welcome home. Why don't you join us for breakfast? Mikael looked around him if a human was with them, as they don't usually have breakfast, as their diet is blood except for Freya unless they have visitors. That's when he saw her, a woman who appeared to be identical to the one who wanted to drive a wedge between his two sons, Elijah and Niklaus. Mikael, I see we have a guest with us. How rude of me to show you such an unwelcoming behavior. Katerina. No problem, Lord. Mikael. Call me Mikael, don't add the Lord title to my name. I don't like all those noble titles. Katerina nodded her hand as she went back to staring at meal. Mikael went to the head of the table and sat down before he looked at Katerina. Mikael. I have to say you remind me of someone. Katerina. That's what I've heard from the lords. May I care to know who she was? Mikael. That does not concern you. I just hope history doesn't repeat itself. As he said this, he looked at Elijah and Niklaus. Elijah. Don't worry father, nothing of that sort is going to happen again. Mikael. I hope so. After Mikael joined them, they all started to eat their meals in peace. A few minutes later, Freya, come on, let's go practice some spells, including you, Ketsia. Ketsia. If you are forgetting something, then I will have to remind you that your brother gave us a babysitting job to do, so off you go, Magic Mania. Cole. Then brother, care to join me? Viktor thought for a moment and decided to join him. He has been thinking of creating some new spells and also in the process some magical items to strengthen his people. The team Viktor. Viktor. All right, I will join you. After all, I was the one who deprived you of your teammates. Cole laughed at that, and he together with Viktor left the rest. Katerina. When they were talking about magic, did mean actual magic or magic tricks? Ketsia. Have you seen any real magic? Katerina. Not that I know of. Ketsia. Then it is a magic trick they were talking about. Ketsia didn't buy what Katerina just said. How can she say that she had not heard of magic when she have a hint of magic in her? Is it that the travelers had disregarded the Branch family over the years, making them oblivious to magic, or Katerina is just so good at lying that she could make such a poker face? After all, she is a descendant of that manipulative bitch, so it wouldn't be a surprise. Rebecca. All right, let's go and get this done with. The four girls left the Mikaelsons' residence and walked around the duchy, introducing Katerina to the ways of England. Mikael. I have to say, at first she gives me that Tatia girl vibes, but looking at her now, she is completely different from her. They just bore the same appearance. I'm still saying this, are you sure there is not going to be any problem with her living with us, boys? Elijah. I assure you father, you have my word. Mikael nodded at Elijah's word and turned to Niklaus. Mikael, what about you, boy? Niklaus. I swear call me boy one more time and I will snap your neck. Mikael. That's not a way to speak to me boy. So answer me. Niklaus wanted to rush at Mikael but was blocked by Finn. Finn. Father, I think it will be better not to provoke Nick anymore, and from what I see, there is not going to be any problem, Finn said as he took Niklaus away with him. Elijah. I think you should take it easy with Nick. Mikael. What do you mean boy? I and Niklaus do not have anything to fight about. That's just our daily routine. Elijah. Sigh. I think I should listen to Viktor when he says that the both of you are the same. Elijah said as he stood up and decided to attend a noble meeting held by the king. Mikael. Going to mingle with those despicable nobles. Elijah. Elijah. Yes father. I will send them your regards. Farewell. Mikael. We should get ready to move soon. Living a life of a noble isn't sitting well with me. Henrik. Don't worry father. We will soon move. We spent a long time here, but don't you think we should find a place to settle down? Mikael. In due time, boy, but right now I just want to leave this place. Chapter 23 Curious Cat Cole. What are you doing, brother? Viktor. I'm thinking of creating some weapons. Cole. Huh, when did you learn blacksmithing to be able to create weapons, and why are you even thinking of making weapons when we can use our fists and magic? Viktor. You will never know when it might come in handy, brother, and we should learn how to use some weapons in our fight to avoid staining our hands with blood. You know, hygiene. Cole. Whatever, I have magic for that. Viktor smiled when he saw Cole's nonchalant attitude. He is just creating weapons for the ones he will turn like Katarina to make them stand out from the rest, and maybe just make some for his family. Since he learned some of the runes in Freya's magic codex, that's when he had this idea. Viktor, so what do you want to learn, brother? Cole. That's why I like you, brother. You always teach me what I want. Viktor. I know, so just tell me what you want and let's get things rolling. Cole pondered for a moment before speaking. Cole. That cloning spell you are working on. I want to take part in it too. Viktor. Sigh. You know I have not perfected that spell yet, and I am only in the beginning phase, so I don't see how I will teach you that spell. Cole. I know you haven't finalized the spell. That's why I want to help you. Like you said, two heads are better than one. After Viktor learned the Flying Thunder God spell, he had been trying to incorporate most of the justice from the world of Naruto but failed in some aspects. The one he failed woefully was the reanimation justice, but he wasn't even intending to ever use that justice when he has a perfect resurrection spell, so he decided to use the famous justice of the protagonist, the shadow clone justice. He wanted to make it so that the rest of his siblings could also use it as either a blood clone or a shadow clone, as they don't have access to magic. Viktor. Sigh. Alright, you are in, but you have to listen to my very words. You understand, brother? Cole. Understood, brother. So where should I start? Viktor and Cole began working on the cloning spell. Elsewhere, Rebecca. So how do you find your tour of the duchy? Katarina. Katarina. It was a pleasant sight, my lady, thank you very much. Freya. No problem. We were just doing what was needed. Ketsia. Katarina. If you are satisfied with your tour, can we go back now? Katarina. Yes, but I have a burning question I've been meaning to ask. Rebecca. Ask away. Katarina. Who is the person you are all talking about that I bear a resemblance to? Rebecca. Oh, that. I'm afraid I can't tell you that. If you want to know, then you will have to ask her or the twins and Elijah. Only them can tell you what you want to know. Rebecca said as she pointed at Ketsia when she said ask her. Ketsia. Don't look at me. You won't get anything from me. Katarina was curious and wanted to find out who the person she bore a resemblance to, but seeing as the girls refused to tell her, then she will have to ask one of the brothers. Freya. Since we are done here, can we go back now? They decided to go back as they were done here. Back at the Mikaelson's residence. Mikael. Come on boy, that's not how you fight with a sword, you can do better than that. Henrik. I'm doing exactly what you are telling me to do, so how am I not getting it right? Mikael. You should be able to best your brothers when it come to sword fight, as the current me is better than when I taught them. Henrik. If you don't know, let me tell you this, we all get stronger as we age, father. So they are not getting rusty, but instead they getting more better as they are still practicing their sword styles. Mikael. Stop making excuse boy, That's not how I train my children. Mikael and Henrik could be seen training, as Mikael didn't have anything to do as of recent decided to train Henrik as he didn't get the chance to train him before everything went south. Elijah, father, give little Henrik a break, you know he can beat you, so why bother trying to teach him anyway? Mikael. That's where you are wrong, boy. You must always be versatile always so that you can always be prepared. You don't know when a stronger adversary will come which your brute force are a little to nothing to him. That's when your skills will come to play. Elijah. You are right on that one, father, but still, don't take your boredom on the poor boy. Mikael. What are you even doing here? Are you done with your noble stuffs? Elijah. Yes, we are done. There is a prospect of war coming, father. Why don't you take part in it, as that will take you away from here for the time being? Rebecca. Where is he going? They turned to see Rebecca and the rest of the girls coming. Elijah. I was just telling father about a war which is brewing. Mikael. If the war did happen, let me know. It'd been a long time since my hands hacked some things. Ketsia. Where is Viktor? Is he not back yet? Henrik. I'm not sure. I was here with father all this while. Freya. Sigh. It is Cole we are talking about here. He is probably squeezing Viktor dry for his knowledge right now. Ketsia. I will go back to my room. See you later. The rest also disperse, leaving only Mikael and Henrik alone. Chapter 24. Family meeting. For the next couple of years, everything was normal for the Mikaelsons. Viktor and Cole are still working on the cloning spell with the aid of Ketsia and Freya, but they have not even gotten a significant result, which was making Cole frustrated. Mikael has gone to the war a few months, which gave Henrik a breather. Klaus has become quite famous in the duchy for his paintings, which has spread all around England and beyond, which boost his ego amongst his siblings. Elijah, who took the role of an actual noble, made the name of the Mikaelsons great, as he made many achievement to aid England, marking his name in the annals of history. Finn and Henrik just moved around England, taking in the wonders the world has to offer to them. Meanwhile, Katerina has already moved to the Mikaelsons' residence on behest of Viktor, which made the Mikaelsons confused, as they knew their brother very well to always have a reason for the things he does. Mikaelsons' residence. Viktor. How are you doing, love? Ketsia. I'm fine and good morning. Where were you the entire night? Cole. Well, he was with me the entire night. Sorry for stealing him from you, but my curiosity got the better of me. Elijah. We need to gather around. They turned to see Elijah coming in with Finn, Freya, Henrik and Rebecca following behind him. Elijah. Where is Nick? Cole. I think he is in that his art exhibition thing. I honestly think Niklaus has his head filled with art these days. Viktor. I will let him know, Viktor said as he used his telepathy ability to call Niklaus. Viktor. Nick, Elijah has something to say to us, so we need you here. Niklaus. You can go on without me. The fun is just beginning here and you are trying to get me away from here. No way. Viktor. Are you going to come yourself or want me to come get you? Whichever one you pick is fine by me. Niklaus. Sigh. All right, I will be right there, but if the reason Elijah called this gathering for is not reasonable, then all of you will have to compensate me. How about that, Viktor? You got yourself a deal. Niklaus. Great, I will be there in a flash. Viktor turned to the rest of his siblings and lover as he said. Viktor. Nick is on his way here, so what do you want to talk about, brother? Elijah. Let's go to the living room first. Also, Freya, could you cast a silencing spell? I don't want our discussion to be heard by a certain someone. Freya cast the silencing spell as she covered the whole room with it. Before they could start their discussion, Niklaus appeared as he vamped speed on his way here. Niklaus. So, brother, I'm here. Care to tell us what made you call this gathering? They all nodded their heads as a sign of confirmation, as they too were confused by Elijah's action. Elijah. The reason as to why I called this meeting is to talk about whether we should consider staying here permanently. What do you think of that? Niklaus, hearing the idea, was all smiles. Niklaus. I like that idea, brother. We should stay here in England. You know I don't want to disappoint my fans here. Rebecca. We can't stay here. You all know that we will have to go back home to resurrect Mother, right? Elijah. We have 4 witches who could teleport there and back, so that will not be a problem for us. Cole. You do know that we can only teleport to places we've marked before, right? And don't take this the wrong way, but I am not your fucking transportation means. Henrik. I don't think father will be supportive of that as he is already pissed off by our prolonged stay here. Niklaus. We take care of father when he comes back. Henrik. Easy for you to say as you are not the one receiving the burnt of his frustration and boredom, brother. Niklaus. You do remember that I also face the burnt of father's wrath, right, and that's also because of mother's doing. If she haven't made that starling's necklace, I would have gained father's approval, but that will also be disastrous as I would have triggered my werewolf curse. But that does not mean that I will forgive mother easily, as we are all a victim of her selfishness. Rebecca. Don't drag mother into this, Nick. Even though mother did all that, she still loved us dearly. Niklaus. I don't buy what Ketsia said. For all we know, it might be one of her ploy to try and get rid of us again. Viktor, seeing as Klaus has diverted from the issue of Mikhail to Esther, means Rebecca's word got to him when she talked about going back to home. He didn't want to resurrect her as he fears he will be hurt if she attempt to pull her previous stunt, as he is a little trusting than his TV counterpart. Even Viktor does not trust her completely, but he will just give her the benefit of doubt, as even if she tried anything funny, he will just have to put her in her place. Viktor. Enough. I too am against the idea of staying here in England, as I've had my fun of living as a noble, and also I might have to journey alone later in the next 2 to 3 centuries, so I suggest that when father comes back from the war, we move. Niklaus. Why, brother, you have to remember our vow, always and forever. We must stick together, so why are you going your separate way? Viktor. It won't be permanent, brother, just for a few years and then I'm back. I just want to do a little research on something. Elijah. But why can't we just stay here, brother? Finn. Let's put it into votes then rather than all this bickering. Freya. You are right, brother, so if you are interested in staying here in England, raise your hands. Elijah and Niklaus both raised their hands. Seeing that they were outnumbered, they didn't even bother for the other vote to be cast. Niklaus. All right, you all win, but let me say this, the next time I make a name for myself somewhere, we will have to stay there until I decide otherwise. Viktor. Okay. Viktor agreed, as he knew the next time will be the New Orleans flashback scenes. Hearing Viktor's word, the rest also agreed. Elijah. It's decided then, we will be moving when father comes back. Sigh, and I was loving this place. Chapter 25. What is it that you desire? Mikaelson's resident Katerina could be seen laying on her bed. Katerina. What are they hiding? Everyone in the duchy are talking about them. What are they? Because from what I've been hearing is their long history here, how their ancestors came from a faraway land, fought their way to the rank of nobles, but from Mikhail's tone, he seems to hate a life of the nobles, and that is not something someone from a noble birth would think. Sigh, even that resemblance thing is still left hanging and nobody wants to say anything about it. Who should I seek help from? Trevor, he might know something. She made up her mind to seek help from Trevor, as he is the right-hand man of Elijah Mikaelson's. After making her decision, she got up from her bed and left her room to look for Trevor, which she saw after a while. Trevor. Good day, Lady Katerina, how may I help you? Katerina. Good day to you too, Sir Trevor, I would like your help with something. Trevor. And what is that, my lady? Katerina. I want to know more about the Mikaelsons, and you are the only one who I could think of to know about them more than anyone. Trevor, hearing her words, made his face changed. Trevor. Why do you want to know? From my recent findings, you appeared to be more close to them than I. Katerina, seeing the frown on his face, knew he knows something that she didn't know, and she is going to make sure he tells her. Katerina. I just wanted to make a biography about them, so that the later generation can know about them. So are you willing to assist me? Trevor. I'm afraid that I can't help you, as I don't know anything that can help you with that biography of yours. Katerina. Come on, Trevor. I know you know something, but you don't want to say it. What about this? Trevor. What is it that you think you can use to know what you want? There is nothing that will get any word out of me. Katerina smiled at him as he foolishly hinted that he knew something. Katerina. What about I give you what you've been desperately eyeing from afar but you can't approach? Trevor. And what might that be, Lady Katerina? Katerina. Me? I know you have feelings for me. Katerina said with a smile on her face which made Trevor's body shake as to how she knew. Trevor, you are going to agree to my proposal if I can provide you with the information you want. Katerina only said one word in her head, which was, fool. Because of his love for someone, he is willing to betray his masters. Katerina. Yes, I will be yours, if you can give me what I want. Trevor looked around him to look if someone was watching them. Seeing no one around them, he brought down his voice as he said, "Trevor, they are vampires." Katerina's eyes widened as she has heard of that name even before coming to England. The creatures of the night that feed on the blood of humans to satiate their hunger, ruthless, sadistic and last but not the least bloodthirsty creatures. Katerina, they are vampires, but how are they able to walk under the sun, and how did they even let you on their secret? She believed vampires to never work under the sun as they were described as the creatures of the night. Trevor simply raised his hands as he showed her his lapis lazuli ring, which enables him to walk under the sun. Trevor, I'm also a vampire, so I would know if they were one, and this daylight ring helps vampires to walk under the sun. Katerina looked at the ring in Trevor's hands in fascination. Katerina, how is it made? Trevor, it is made with lapis lazuli by magic. Katerina, so magic is indeed real, and looking at it, it was given to you by them, right? Trevor nodded his head as a sign of his confirmation. Katerina, he got guts to go directly against his masters who made him live like a more civilized man, all for love. Katerina, but I don't see any rings on them except from Lord Viktor and Niklaus, which are also different from this, as theirs has a wolf head on it. Trevor, oh, Lady Katerina, don't compare normal vampires to them, they are the real deal. Katerina, what do you mean by the real deal? Trevor, they are the original vampires, the first of our kind. They don't have any of the normal vampires' weakness, but possess even more strength than us. Katerina was shocked by this revelation, as she couldn't believe that the ones she has been dealing with are people who could snuff her life at any seconds. Immediately she ran and left Trevor alone and ran to her room. Back at Kat's room. Katerina, what have I gotten myself into? Living with the most dangerous family in the world, and they act like a normal family. Sigh, should I try and run away from here? No, they will eventually get to me before I even know it. What should I do now? Sigh, forget it. As she was thinking about what to do, she then remembered her daughter and her parents who took her away from her. Katerina, those damn bastards, they didn't even let me hold my child even once and still banished me from my home. Should I ask them to make me like them? But would they even agree to it? That's when it hit her. Viktor Mikaelson, the one whom all the Mikaelsons listen to when he says something. Katerina, should I ask him? If I give him a satisfiable answer, he might make me like them. Yes, I will have to go to him. Katerina left her room once again and went out to look for Viktor. When she asked around, she found out that the Mikaelsons are all in the living room, so she made her way there. When she got there, it seems as if they were done with whatever reason that brought them together for a gathering, so she strolled to Viktor and looked at him intensively, which made everyone look at her. Viktor, seeing her like this, knew why she was here, as everything was seen by him, as he knew Trevor has feelings for her and Katerina would turn to him as he is an easy prey for her to manipulate, and when she finds out what they were, she will desire power so that she will never be hopeless ever again. So he asked her using the famous word of the one and only Lucifer, bloody Morningstar. Viktor, what is it that you desire?
Another tale fades into the silence. But here in the fantasy audiobook library, stories never sleep. Subscribe and return when your heart seeks adventure. We'll be waiting.